Sure.
All right, ready when you are.
Coming up Monday on Miller and Moulton.
We look back on a big weekend of football.
And big weekend of baseball.
And we'll look ahead to the Jags on Monday Night Football.
Miller and Moulton, Monday, 6 a.m.
Yeah, AJC, you think he learned his lesson after Freed? Holy cow.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floormeister Studios. Floormeisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you on this Football Friday.
Football Friday.
How the heck are you, Miller and Moulton? MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. The first big football weekend of October. Baseball playoffs heading to the best of 5 round in the divisional series. Top of the morning to you, Mark. How are you?
David, I only have 2 words this morning. Holy shitler. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, you know what? A starting pitcher pitched 8 innings last night. A manager after 7 looked at him and said, "You're going back." Wow.
But he made the right decision in game 1 when he took Freed out after 6 1/3. I mean, his evidence in the next 2 games showed that he realized he screwed up.
He did. You know what, though? We can knock Boone a lot for game 1, but in turn, the man learned his lesson.
Yep.
So I have to give him credit. As much as we harped on it after game 1, I have to give him credit for last night. Because after 7, I'm texting with my Yankee buddy, and he's like, now I got to sweat the bullpen. And he didn't in the 8th.
No, and the Red Sox helped out by swinging it early in the count. I think he did the 8th inning on 7 pitches, and listen, I thought he should have gone out there to start the ninth because the first batter of the ninth was 0 for 3 against him. So why bring in somebody from the bullpen? He's at 107 pitches. He's got 5-6 more pitches left in him. I mean, I would have gone batter by batter in the ninth, to be brutally honest with you. There's no sense taking this kid out.
Good day of baseball yesterday. Obviously, I'm excited because my team won. They finally scored some runs. I'm a Cubbies fan deep down from all those years going home from school and watching WGN. So it was great to see Wrigley rocking and the Cubbies get it done. Actually was texting with Roy Cummings during the game last night after my Tigers won. I wished him luck, and we texted throughout the game. And then the Yankees with the shutout of the Red Sox to finish off a terrific night in baseball. Oh, yeah, by the way, the MASH unit called the San Francisco 49ers somehow got it done.
Wow, what an effort by the Niners. Got off to a great start. Blocked an extra point when the Rams were ready to take the lead. And then when the Rams were ready to win the game late, the Niners denied them not once but twice.
One punch out, one stop, and what an effort, toughness by one Mac Jones last night. Really and truly. I mean, I didn't think he was coming back after he got just clobbered in the second half there and toughed it out. Good for the Niners. What a win. That's one I think we're going to look back on that, David. The Rams are going to be kicking themselves come December for letting that game slip away.
Could very well, and also shows what a good win it was for Jacksonville 5 days ago to go in and hand the Niners their only defeat of the season.
No doubt. No doubt. And now we can turn our attention towards the divisional round, which should be terrific. Love some of the matchups there, and a nice, solid little football weekend, David.
We will get to all of that, but first, I do need to go back to Mark. I'm rooting for the Cubs. I have a soft spot for the Cubs, Miller, but I'm also talking to Mark. I don't want umpires calling balls and strikes. I want a computer. Did you watch the top of the ninth inning at Wrigley Field?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy is right.
Oh, boy. Leadoff homer for the Padres, make it 3-1. And the next guy, Xander Bogaerts, and he walks. Only the 3-2 pitch, which is clearly low and clearly outside, is called strike 3.
Didn't mean anything because the batters got hit after that, and all hell was about to break loose.
Right. I mean, at the very least, if the inning plays out the way it then played out afterwards, instead of a fly out to center field to end the game, that would have been not 2 on with 2 out. That would have been bases loaded with 1 out. And at the very least, that's a sac fly, and somebody's coming up for San Diego with 2 on and 2 out, trailing 3-2. And a closer who is shaky, to say the least. So a huge, and the announcers and everybody are like, well, this won't happen next year. Yeah, but it just happened.
Yep. And boy, oh boy, David, next year, you're right. But it's the ninth inning. Are you going to have a challenge left at that point? I mean, there are a lot of variables to say that when you quickly say, well, that won't happen next year. Are you sure?
Well, I think it's another reason to maybe amend the rule, because I think in baseball now you get what, 1 challenge?
Thought it was 2, but you keep them if you're right.
Okay, but I believe once you get to the 8th inning now, okay, you don't need a challenge. I thought that it just goes upstairs. But, anyway, baseball has to make sure when they go forward with this ABS system, okay, you can't have an instance in the 9th inning of a playoff game where a home plate umpire clearly misses a very important pitch and there's no recourse, since you brought in the technology to make sure we get it right, you can't, in my opinion, Mark, then next year say, well, if they still had a challenge left.
Right. You get 2 challenges. You will keep them if you are correct. What would be, just quick thinking. Help me, David. Tennis, you get X number per set, right?
3.
Okay. I would almost want to go in and simply change the rules and say you get 1 challenge every 3 innings. That assures you, and if you get it right, you keep it. But that assures you that in 7, 8, 9, if you want to use your challenges early, you have one at the end of the game. And managers don't have to worry about, when do I use my challenge? But that won't be the case. What a break. We don't know how it works out. Does he hit the batters after? You have no idea. But it certainly changes that inning. Because instead of 1 out, and they've already scored the run, it's a runner on first and no outs.
Right. Tying run at the plate the whole rest of the inning. And or go-ahead runs at the plate, considering what he did. My guess is he doesn't finish the inning, by the way, if that pitch is called the ball. That I think counsel would have pulled him. With the way that the inning ensued, I think he would have pulled him. But so the baseball playoffs off to a dynamic start. Yankees.
Well, he did pull him. I mean, after he hit the 2 guys, they brought in another pitcher. So, yes.
Yankees, Tigers, Cubs, Dodgers advance. By the way, top 4 seeds in the National League, 1, 2, 3, and 4 through to the second round. And in the American League, it's 1, 2, 4, and 6.
Tigers go to Seattle, Blue Jays and Yankees get after it, Brewers and Cubs, Dodgers and Phillies.
Yeah, it's nice.
I like both National League series. The Cubs and Brewers is a, fun, obviously, series. They're very close to one another. There's a little there, if you know what I'm saying.
Well, and also counsel left the Brewers to go manage the Cubs.
So that should be terrific.
Yeah. So got some drama, Mark. That's all you and I want. We want drama.
David, I resorted to something that you and I have talked about for years on this show. I had to make dinner for my daughter yesterday, and I needed something from the store to complete dinner, and it was a quick run. I missed the home run, listened to the home run that put the Tigers up, and I mean, you should have seen this idiot pulling into the grocery store parking lot with his fist pumping.
Did you pound the dash?
I yelled out loud. I was pumping the fist and yelling. And I ran in as quickly as I could. And I was just really going to get one item. And I said, it was, hamburger buns. It's really all I had to get.
But
I was nervous, David.
The adrenaline.
And so I ran to the dairy aisle and grabbed some French onion dip, and then ran to the potato chip aisle and grabbed a bag of potato chips.
Yeah.
And came home and stood at the kitchen counter, stuffing my face with chips and dip while I nervously was eating through the final innings of the Tigers game.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. That's when you know it's a bigger than normal sporting event, when you are binge eating because you're nervous.
And that's a Miller and Moulton trait. We've been doing this for a long time.
Yep. It's a box of Cheez-Its or Cheese Nips for me, man. I could just stand there and pound down the whole big box.
And I knew I had nothing. I had nothing in the house that was going to fill the void to nervously eat through the final innings of the Guardians-Tigers game.
That's how you know it's important. All right.
My daughter learned some colorful language when Vest did not catch the ball from Torkelson and it bounded towards the dugout. My wife came running out of the bedroom wondering what happened and then just gave me that dirty look.
What happened? What happened? Okay, we're trying to blow a 6-1 lead. That's what happened. Go back to your room. Leave me and my chips alone.
Miller and Moulton. Nervous eating on a Thursday. It's now a football Friday. Lee Sterling, Pat Kirwan, and we'll make our picks. Thanks so much for listening. Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
When Glass Doctor replaces your windshield, we don't just send you on your way, we send you off protected. Your local Glass Doctor includes the industry's only 12-month windshield protection plan at no extra cost. That means unlimited chip repairs and even a one-time replacement if needed. High-quality service backed by real peace of mind, right here in your neighborhood.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh yeah!
Exclusions apply. See your local Glass Doctor for
This is Miller and Moulton.
I put Canes Knowles up for a question. You want to put the spread on it or just leave it like that? Got to put your mic to your mouth. I can't hear you.
I think the spread.
Okay. It is better. Thank you. The epidural did wonders.
And yeah, coffin ball leaving at noon.
David, is there, I know the answer, but do you have any more juice? You're a little quiet this morning. Sorry, I
3-2, 3-2-1.
Yeah, much, much, much better. Whatever you did is better.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. The starting five in about 15 minutes' time. Lee Sterling at the top of the hour. He's on a good run. First off, he's had back-to-back winning weeks on this show. Had a huge week for his clients last week. Huge. Like ran the table. So, been a rough start to the season for some of us. Somebody's got to figure it out. Lee coming up at the top of the hour. Mark, we talk ratings on this show. We talk the industry more than most, I think. Did you happen to see the first baseball ratings that got announced yesterday?
You know, I did not. I did not. Enlighten me on how well or baseball did or didn't do.
So obviously, well, I guess it's not obvious. Some of you only pay attention to football, but baseball just had their wild card round on the ABC ESPN family of networks. They had 4 games Tuesday, 4 games Wednesday, 3 games yesterday. Ratings came in yesterday for Tuesday. The 4 games. First off, Mark, the average baseball game does, and when I say average baseball game, I mean at the network level. A Sunday night baseball does 1.7 If it's Yankees, Red Sox, it'll do, between like 2.5 and 3 million. The average playoff game of the four did 4.4 million, up 73% from last year. Now, I mean, you do have the Cubs and the Yankees and the Dodgers involved, but okay, just take it for what it's worth. The average baseball game at 1, 3, 6, or 9 o'clock had 4.4 million viewers. Game 1 of the Yankees-Red Sox mark did 6.5 million viewers.
All right.
In the late innings, it did nearly 10. Remember, it was a 6 o'clock start.
Bodes well for what last night may end up doing when we get those numbers, probably this weekend, latest Monday.
Baseball made sure to let everyone know that the 18 to 34 demo that baseball doesn't get, and that football even struggles to get. Mark, ratings for those under the age of 35 more than doubled.
All right, baseball. Look at games with some meaning, some substance, and people watching.
Yeah. And, yes, it definitely helps. Once again, to have the Cubs and the Red Sox and the Yankees and the Dodgers involved. It does. So, of course, we give you all this good news while cautioning you that 13 months from now, the sport will be completely shut down for a long period of time. So enjoy it while we have it.
And we'll see, obviously, now Boston out, Toronto in. What does that do? Seattle in.
Right.
What does that do?
But
Cubs, Brewers, Dodgers, Phillies.
Both
should rate well.
The American League playoffs move to the Fox family of networks. It's important to note the next round starts tomorrow. There'll be 4 playoff games tomorrow. Yeah, I know, up against all that college football. Here's another thing to remember. The Fox family of networks has the American League Division Series. TBS has the National League Division Series, and the National League will play their games Saturday, Monday. The 2 American League playoff games are Saturday, Sunday. The 2 National League playoff games to get the Division Series started are Saturday, Monday.
There was talk, and it went away, that the Bucs-Seahawks game, they were talking about the start time because of the baseball game, but the start time is staying the same.
Right. So the games will be going on. And, oh, by the way, those stadiums are separated by a 2-lane road.
So Seattle with a hell of a Sunday.
Uh-huh.
I mean, a hell of a Sunday. Wonder how many people are doing both. You know what I mean? Well, walking right across the street after Bucs-Seahawks for Tigers-Mariners.
Be about 110,000 people there across the street from one another. Good for them.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But the Mariners games at night, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. And yes, so, the Bucs game, how about that little traffic jam?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
There's a parking garage, too, right there. Oh, that'll just be madness.
So, Seattle getting one of those special days in sports on Sunday.
Yes.
And their football team's good right now, hosting another good team, and then baseball playoffs to follow. So a fun day in the Pacific Northwest. We've already got a poll question up today. By the way, it's your, we had like a day left. You got to finish today. You're voting on the Shoeless Joe Sports Cafe questions of what games you want to watch. We've got 3 1 o'clock games, 3 4 o'clock games. The winner of the poll questions that we posted earlier this week will be the games that will get the sound at Shoeless Joe Sports Cafe. But for now, we just have one for today. We did it with the number, David. Canes and Knowles. Who you got? Canes minus 4.5, Knowles plus 4.5. You may hear one, if not both of us, talk about that game in 45, 50 minutes time.
Yeah, you can't chicken out and not make a pick on that game. I mean, come on. We both have to man up and decide which side of this we're on.
So I don't know if you read the article. I know you read probably a little more than I do, but anytime I see something with Spurrier in and around an article, I have to read it. And it was just a little history lesson on the Mannings playing the University of Florida. And obviously it started with Peyton and just how well he did against the Gators.
Right.
And, you know, we all remember that you can't spell the UT without citrus. But when Manning came back for his senior year and Spurrier said he wanted to be a 3-time Citrus Bowl champ. But that wasn't even the one, because that one made me laugh. I didn't realize during Spurrier's tenure that there was a fire at Auburn in the library. And Spurrier said, it's really too bad they were about to color the number 15.
I miss him so much.
Oh, man. And it's why you and I love Lane.
Yes. Yes, he's just about it. He's just about all we have left.
Everybody's so afraid of the media.
Yep.
And Lane embraces it.
A little Dabo, and a lot of Lane, and I don't know what else we have.
Right, but Dabo's confrontational now with the media. He's not fun with the media.
No.
Lane has fun.
Yes.
I mean, he has figured out, and he talked about it. He had a great, the E60 came out. He did a couple of interviews. He embraces it. You get to embrace the starting 5. That's next. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Football season is back, and celebrate your game day with Jimmy the Beef Guy. We're talking tender, juicy Chicago beef sandwiches. Whether your party's for 10, 100, or 200, bring game day to your house with Jimmy the Beef Guy. The catering packages come with the beef, the gravy, the peppers, the bread, everything you need. 2 convenient locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. Skip the ordinary and bring the beef. Jimmy the Beef Guy, Chicago flavor, Southwest Florida style. Call today or visit jimmythebeefguy.com. Tell him Miller and Moulton sent you. Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 13325.
This is Miller and Moulton.
No, you're right, Puck. It's not fun when you're losing, but I don't think Dabo's ever. I mean, Dabo's not. He speaks his mind, which is terrific, and I think that's what David was alluding to. I don't think he necessarily has fun with the media the way Lane does. I don't think he embraces it, the way the old ball coach did. But he's very honest, which that's all David and I ever ask for. We want those 6 seconds, and Dabo will give you 6 minutes.
Thank you, Brown Chicken.
Yes, please do. Thank you.
Brown Chicken, you know what? On the way, who knows? You may run into Jimmy the Beer Guy.
Jimmy the Beef Guy, I believe, is heading to Tallahassee this weekend. Blown out? Why would you expect your team to get blown out? When have they been blown out this year? They've lost 2 games in the final seconds, basically. I mean, you have them winning the division and maybe going to the Super Bowl. Why would you think they're going to get blown out? They just got done playing their best game of the year. I don't think they're going to win, but I don't think they're going to get blown out. So I was texting with the chief there from the Cape.
Yeah.
And he was how happy he is. Love sponsoring the segment, thinks it's great. And he says, the banter between you two was funny. If you're serious about me sending stuff, I will. And I'm like, absolutely. And then bang, bang, bang. And I didn't realize now on capecops.com, not only can you apply for a job, but they've got a media where they post all of their stuff. He gave me a ton. That's a new source because NBC-2.com is not as good as it has been with their local stuff. It's to me still the best between that and Wink. I think their website's better with more information. Wink wants everything to be video, and I'm not someone who wants to watch everything. I would rather be able to read it quickly than have to sit through a 2 to 4 minute video.
Right. You mean to tell me since they started covering the Gulf Coast instead of Southwest Florida, they're not as good?
Imagine that. Wonder how things are in Biloxi.
Don't forget Galveston.
How can you, Mr. Barkley? How can you?
Oh, my God. Outrageously funny. That's even funnier than the fat chicks of San Antonio. That dirty water in Galveston, and they say they're going to the beach. Oh.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Lee Sterling with his picks and some football analysis at the top of the hour. Pat Kirwan in a little more than an hour. But right now it's time for
The Starting Five. 5 big stories you need to know. Here is the Starting Five.
It may be a football Friday, but we're going to begin with baseball from yesterday. Yankees with 4 in the 4th, and that was all that Cam Schlittler needed. 8 shutout innings, struck out 12. And the Yankees move on to face the Jays in Toronto tomorrow. 4-0. Bronx Bombers, after losing game 1, won the next 2 to win the series. Earlier in the day, the Tigers found some offense. Broke a 1-all tie in the 6th, put up 4 in the 7th, and withstood their own awful defense to beat Cleveland 6-3, win the series 2-1, and Detroit is going to be in Seattle.
And boy, oh boy, David, you're right, awful defense, but worse base running by Ramirez there. He loafed to second base. There was a play at first, the pitcher covering, botched the play, and the ball caromed over by the dugout. Ramirez thought he had second base easily, kind of dogged it, and certainly didn't go full speed and got thrown out.
Arise dogged
Yeah.
an infield ball in the Cubs-Padres game. Ramirez, I don't understand it at all. At all. Pete Rose said it a long time ago. You can't run hard 4 times a game. Makes no sense at all. Inexcusable. Cubs scored 2 in the 2nd, led 3-0 going to the 9th, and then held on and got some help from the home plate umpire. 3-1 Cubs over the Padres. They win in 3. And you're right, Mark. You can drive between the Cubs-Brewers series. No problem.
Bus, David.
Nothing wrong with a good bus ride, Mark. Nothing wrong with that. That begins tomorrow in Milwaukee. So do the Dodgers and Phillies. A reminder, 4 games tomorrow. The American League Division Series are on the Fox family of networks. Expect a lot of FS1 over the weekend because of Fox's commitment to college and the NFL. The National League Division Series is on TBS. The American League will play Saturday, Sunday. The National League will play Saturday, Monday to get their first 2 games in. Football now. What a game at SoFi. Niners jump out to a 14-0 lead. Mac Jones with 2 early touchdowns. And then the much healthier Rams begin to work their way back, down 20-7, late third quarter. Matthew Stafford with a touchdown. Then Matthew Stafford with another touchdown. Early in the 4th, they're going to take the lead. The extra point's blocked. So he stays tied at 20. Then Eddie Pinheiro drills a 59-yarder with 2:52 to play. The Rams then drive all the way down. 1st and goal inside the 5. 2nd and goal at the 3. Kirwan Williams has a big hole. He's going to score. He gets hit from the side. Fumbles at the 1. San Fran recovers with a minute to go. But the Rams still have all 3 timeouts. They get a quick stop. Get the ball back. Looked as if the punt return put them in field goal range. Holding penalty. Anyway, they end up completing a couple passes to Stafford. They kick a field goal at the gun from 48 yards. We're going to overtime. Niners get the ball. They kick a field goal. 26-23, which doinked in off the left upright. Then the Rams have first down in the red zone. 3rd and 1, stuffed. 4th and 1 at the 11, stuffed. Instead of kicking the tying field goal with under 3 minutes to go in the overtime, Rams called timeout. They go for it, and the Niners stuff Kirwan Williams. Ball game. San Francisco improves to 4-1 with 3 division wins. 26-23, the shorthanded Niners over the Rams. Terrific Thursday night football game. Terry McLaurin going to miss the 2nd straight game for the Commanders Sunday against the Chargers. We had J.P. Shadrick on yesterday. He said, watch out for Trayvon Walker and his wrist. Turns out he had wrist surgery yesterday on his left wrist. Yet he's day-to-day and may still play Monday night against the Chiefs. Wow. I don't know about that. That seems, they're tough.
Right. They're very tough.
They are tough. And obviously he'll be shot up, but
and they'll have a cast on the damn thing, David.
I'm going to say 4 days after wrist surgery playing the Chiefs, but we'll see. There was a college football game last night for you degenerates. We told you, take New Mexico State and the 1.5. Why was New Mexico State an underdog at home to a winless Sam Houston? Anyway, close going to the 4th, 24-0 in the Aggies in the 4th quarter. They win it 37-10.
Over the Bearcats with a K.
By the way, 5 college football games tonight. The headliner's probably West Virginia at BYU, 10:30 on the 4-letter network. But at 7 o'clock on the Deuce, South Florida, laying a whole bunch of points at home against Charlotte. 7 o'clock, ESPN2, the Bulls off a bye, back in action. Also tonight, 8 o'clock on the 4-letter network, Game 1 of the WNBA Finals. The 4-seed Phoenix against the 2-seed Las Vegas. The Aces are a 3.5-point home favorite. Best of 7 for the first time in the WNBA Finals. NHL season starts Tuesday. Panthers extend another player. 29-year-old defenseman Nico Mikola gets an 8-year, $40 million deal. They have got a lot of these players locked up long-term. It could backfire. This team could get old and be locked into long-term big money deals, but they have certainly kept the core together to see how many finals and cups can they win. NBA Heat forward Nikola Jovic, 22-year-old Serbian, signed a 4-year, $62.4 million contract extension. Jimmy Butler took this kid aside for 2 years and worked with him extensively. So if he turns out to be a really good player, it may have ended badly for Jimmy in Miami, but his legacy may be Nikola Jovic. NBC, Mark, announcing the return of NBCSN.
Begging the question, why? Maybe they needed somewhere to put NASCAR other than USA.
They say NASCAR is going to stay on USA Network, but that college basketball in the NBA is going to end up on NBCSN, NBC's sports cable network of the very same name, which they shuttered 4 years ago.
In a world where everyone is going streaming,
right?
NBC says, you know what we need is another over-the-air network.
Right.
It's why you were getting the Kirwan graphics on your YouTube TV, if you have it, about this could go away. They did work out at least a partial agreement with YouTube TV to keep everything on there. We'll see how this goes down the road.
Baseball playoff ratings are coming in, and they are outstanding. Yankees Red Sox game 1 did 6.5 million. Peaked at nearly 10 million. More than double folks under the age of 35 watched. Good news for Major League Baseball. They're going to have a lockout/strike in about 14 months. And we're going to lose a big chunk of the 2027 season. So enjoy this while we have it. Golf, PGA Tour, back in action after taking a few weeks off there in Mississippi for the Sanderson Farms Championship. 4-way tie for the lead at 7 under. Max Homa's playing. He's 5 under. Our FGCU kid, Frankie Sappin, got off to a decent start. He shot 2 under. Champions Tour, the Constellation Furyk and Friends event at Timuquana Country Club in Jacksonville gets underway today. Rocco Mediate, the defending champ. And at 10 minutes before the hour mark, that was starting 5. 5 big stories and a Rocco mention here on Miller and Moulton. The college football games tonight. South Florida hosting Charlotte, BYU hosting West Virginia, Western Kentucky, Delaware, New Mexico, and San Jose State. And Mark, your wife's alma mater in action in what might be a fairly entertaining game. Colorado State at San Diego State.
Yeah, they're not very good. Colorado State, that is.
Well, and I don't know how good San Diego State is either, because at home, they're just a 6.5-point favorite.
All right. A little Friday night football to whet your appetite. I'm sure if we give you winners in that game and don't put them on our sheet, they'll be correct. Big Aggies win for us last night. Although I will say we would have only hit half of the David Moulton 2-team teaser last night.
Oh, no. I got it both wrong. I had the Rams.
Okay. Didn't we go up enough on the number to get it under or no?
That is true. It stayed at 26-23. Yes, we barely got the under. But in order to get the other part of the tease to come through, it would have gone over.
Right.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So no dice there.
If Kieran Williams had scored in regulation and the Rams had won 27-23, it would have been perfect. They would have covered it being teased down to 2.5, and it would have stayed under either at 51.5 or 50.5, depending on where you got it.
But half of a teaser is what you call a loser.
Loser. Yes.
Poll questions up. Who you got? Canes minus the 4.5. Knowles plus the 4.5. That Mark Miller, the David Moulton, Miller_Moulton on X. Anything else that's on your mind, you can always chime in on the Pelican Roofing of Florida text line. Pelican Roofing of Florida, commercial, residential. Call today, 1-866-9-PELICAN. 1-866-9-PELICAN, the Pelican Roofing of Florida text line. That's 21,000, by the way. 21,000, the text line. The keyword Miller, if you've never texted the show before. Thanking all of those. A lot of people reached out and said, congratulations to your Tigers. Thank you. I get to watch more baseball and be very interested, have an emotional interest. I may need more potato chips, but that's okay.
No doubt. And dip while you're at it. All right, Knowles and Canes. Lee's going to make a pick on the game coming up. Just some notes. The game has gone over in recent years in a big way, but the over-under's pretty high. It's at 54.5. But this rivalry has gone over, 6 of the last 7 times. Also, Florida State just 1-4 against the number in their last 5 against the Canes. Against the number.
4.5 is that number in the game.
18 of the last 25 meetings, so 72%. All the meetings this century, the game has been a one-score game. Do you think it will be again?
Personally, no, I do not.
Ooh.
I think one team is much better. We'll find out what Lee Sterling thinks. He's coming up next, a Football Friday edition of Miller and Moulton. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to NolanAgency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or NolanAgency.com. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I don't think you're off on that, Ryan. I'm not adding to my list, but I don't think you're off on that. Morning, Lee.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. Might want to move that microphone a little closer again.
Oh, no. Back and forth. You're my third show of the morning. Did you get a chance, David, to meet Softy, David Holler?
No, I texted you. No, I didn't. But we're headed back at least one more time, maybe twice.
Oh, to Seattle?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Because I don't see how we don't get Oregon at Washington at the end of November.
Right. What'd you think of Seattle?
Loved it.
Yeah.
Loved the Husky Stadium, the lake to the right and the boats, and loved it.
I
And
heard
the
it wasn't very loud. A lot of my friends who were there said
No, not at all compared to what had been billed as. No.
Right.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So you might see it though for Oregon.
Yeah.
They're a year or two away, Washington.
Well, they might have been able to hang, but losing their best edge rusher and their left tackle during the game didn't help because that Ohio State defense is probably the best.
And then also
in the
the
country.
fake field goal. I mean, they are roasting Jed Fish threw the team under the bus. The players, that play was doomed to fail.
Yeah, it was three guys. I mean, they were in fake. They weren't rushing the kick.
Right.
I mean, Jed needed to call a timeout and just tell them, they're ready for it. Kick it.
Yeah.
By the way, way off of that subject, David, the guy who's leading the Sanderson, that Eric Cole,
Yeah.
he played in the Yingling a couple of times.
Ah.
So you got to meet him. Maybe you go out the night before with him for dinner. He's an interesting guy, funny guy.
Well, it takes me a while to get to Seattle. And, after the show, but, there's no direct flights. I mean, I will say, saw Shaq.
Say what?
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Joined once again on a Football Friday.
Football Friday.
By Lee Sterling, Paramount Sports, ParamountSports.com, 800-400-9741. Lee's on a roll. On a roll with his clients, back-to-back winning weeks on this show. And he's not scared of giving us his thoughts on the big games. Lee, how are you?
Can't complain when you won 11 straight in the NFL, which is really tough. A lot of close games. Feel good about that. And we also hit our big play on South Carolina, 40-unit play, 135-13, laying just 5.5. So feel good. Looks like we're going to have another big play, a 45-unit play. Send that to you guys. So feel free once it starts on Sunday to tweet it out and put it on social media. And I think we found another great situational play.
All right.
Lee, I was just going to say Lee 2-1 on his 40+ unit plays so far this year, and he's over 70% over the years. They're all documented on his site.
Back-to-back winning weeks for Lee on the show. Let's get right after it. The game that I know you're most interested in as a fan, because you have a little affinity for the U. In fact, you've given them a lot of your money with your daughter being a grad of the University of Miami. So some of those $40,000 and $50,000 golf shirts that he wears around with the U logo on them, they are in Tallahassee. I mean, obviously Florida State, we know last week, losing to Virginia, Miami with the bye before the game. 4.5's the number, Lee. What do you think?
Maybe the most important thing that takes place in this game might be the coin toss. And you're like, well, why is that important? If I was Florida State and I win the coin toss, I would accept the ball. I would like, if I was Florida State, to put pressure on Miami, make them feel uncomfortable. If Miami gets 7, 10 14-point lead. They're just going to be vanilla and run the football right down FSU's you-know-what. FSU, more run defense. Virginia was down 2 starting offensive linemen and ran for 211 yards on them. Last year, Miami was laying 21, won by 22. I think overall Miami's a little bit better this year, especially obviously on defense, not as explosive on offense. Thomas Castellanos is going to have to make some real plays, throwing and running, if they want to stay in this game here. I don't think talent-wise Florida State's there yet. We might look back and say, how did Florida State beat Alabama at the end of the year? Under a touchdown. I think Miami's still the call here. Miami 31-23. It's a rivalry game, and Florida State might pull off some trick plays. They'll hang in it for a while.
The Gators off a bye at home. They get the young receiver healthy enough to play. 2 weeks probably helps Lagway, who's clearly not 100%. You know, Lee, we talked last week that we felt the Dolphins regime was on the line Monday night against the Jets. We feel Billy Napier's tenure is on the line tomorrow in the Swamp. The Gators are getting 5.5 against Arch, Sark, and the Horns.
I think I call him Sunbelt Billy is going to have to keep this game within a touchdown to have a chance to keep his job by Monday. I think they've got a chance here. I think Texas is good defense and running the football. Arch is not there. I mean, he's just making mistakes 25% of the time, picking the wrong receiver, not delivering it where it needs to go. And they've never played in the Swamp. Swamp's a tough place to play if Florida's in the game. Like you mentioned, DJ Lagway having the extra week, I think, could be big here. So I think the crowd and Florida's defense, really good. I mean, they've only allowed 6 touchdowns, and one of them was in garbage time to Miami. I think Texas escapes here 20-17, but I think you take the 6.5 points.
To Sunday and Monday, for that matter, we go. We already talked about what a great Sunday it's going to be in Seattle. They start with the Seahawks and the Bucks, and then the Mariners and the Tigers after that. But we don't do baseball during this segment. We do football. The Seahawks are a 3.5-point favorite over Tampa Bay on the road. Tampa Bay getting healthier, coming off a loss against Philadelphia. What do you see, Lee?
Yeah, that was a tough game emotionally and physically. They battled hard. Defense played great in the second half, just couldn't come up with that one play to tie or win the game. But give them credit. Now they got to face a team in Seattle that I don't think is going to beat themselves. They're healthy, extra 3 days to prepare coming off that Thursday night game. 2 really good running backs in Walker and Charbonneau. So I think they're up against it. Darnold's playing really good football, top 3 in almost every statistical category here based on Pro Football Focus. So he's a nice fit. They gotta get some pressure on him. And in Seattle, usually the Seahawks will get you 4, 5, 6 yards on first down, and that makes it tough on defenses here. This is a tough, long road trip here. I think Seattle's the right side here, 27-20.
All right. Dolphins, Panthers. Carolina's played 3 of their first 4 on the road. They lost all 3 of those games, 2 of them badly. They did win their one home game, though. They whacked Atlanta. Short week for the Finns. Obviously, no Tyreek, yet Miami a 1.5-point favorite in Carolina.
This Miami team has got, I think, some real problems. Now they're playing on the short week. I would only consider Carolina at home. Miami was +3 in turnovers. I thought they got really every call from the officials that mattered in the Jets game. Also, opponents have run for at least 150 yards in 3 or 4 games. The question here is Chuba Hubbard listed as questionable. If he's a go, I think Carolina's the right side here. So I think the Miami, the penalties, they've been lucky. Just seems like this. I don't know why officials seem to favor them. Every call, like I said, went against them last week. And now Darren Waller, they get to see at least what he's done, the patterns that Miami likes to use for him. He won't be a surprise like he was last week to the Jets here. So I think Carolina is going to beat Miami here, and the pressure is going to get ratcheted up again here for the GM and the head coach. I like Carolina here, 31-17. They win big.
And Monday night, a monster game for the Jags. We've talked about it. The last time the Jags had a Monday night game, they were playing really well. They went in about a year and a half funk after that. That was against Cincinnati. This one's against Kansas City, who righted the ship last week, pounding Baltimore. Chiefs and Jags, Lee.
So I'm going to give Liam Cohn a lot of credit here. He's aware that you win games with defense, running the football. And when you do that in special teams, you're going to be right up there. The problem here is Kansas City just does everything better. So their defense is better special teams here. You don't want to have Trevor Lawrence throwing the football 40, 45 times. That's a recipe for disaster with this team. But Kansas City finally found their legs. They got back Xavier Worthy last week, so their offense looks really good. I like Kansas City. I think they're the right side here, 26-20.
Game of the week. And Lee, we have had you on the show for at least 20 years because I remember when you picked Texas to win outright against USC and they were getting 7.5 in that classic game for the Natty. That was 20 years ago. I don't think you've ever had Vandy in your game of the week, though.
I think you're right.
Alabama, Vanderbilt, game of the week. Money coming in on Alabama. It's up to 11.5 in some places. Lee, how do they get it?
Yep. First 10 callers. I think I got a real great angle on this game. First 10 callers will get it for free. Alabama, Vandy, 800-400-9741. They get this game for free. 800-400-9741, Bama and Vandy. And we're on a roll. We don't call this October. We call it Locktober. Get every game through Halloween night. 4 weeks of action normally, $597. They use coupon code SAVE200, $397. You're going to get probably 12 to 15 games a week. We rate them from 10 to 50 units. We have another 45-unit max wager, and we're 73 and 29 lifetime on those. So you want to hop on board, this is the time. Also, UFC, big card, Saturday night pay-per-view, 7 selections, $57. And for the first time ever, we have a 40 and a 50-unit selection on the UFC card. We've won 14 out of 17 cards, 7 selections, $57, one place, ParamountSports.com.
800-400-9741. He's laying the 4.5 with the Canes. He's taken the 5.5 with the Gators. Laying points against the Bucks and Jags and getting a 1.5 going against the Dolphins with Carolina at home. Chuba Hubbard, I believe, ruled out, but Lee still going with Carolina at home, getting a 1.5. His game of the week, Alabama, Vandy. Call him for it now, 800-400-9741. Lee, have a great weekend.
You too, guys. Take care. Be safe.
Lee Sterling, you can follow him on X at Paramount Sports, at Paramount Sports. And we do encourage you, even if you don't want to wager, go to ParamountSports.com. He does post a lot of videos, a lot of good football info, even if you're not into gambling. Okay? You can just be entertained and also learn, more about the matchups in a lot of games at ParamountSports.com.
Yeah, educated is really the right word. He does an excellent job. There's a little bit of film breakdown, if you will, and some good information. And check it out. Might be the game you're most interested in that Lee has broken down at ParamountSports.com. Well, David, it's October.
Right.
Does that mean that not only for Lee Sterling, but for one David Moulton, does it become Locktober?
Probably not.
Or are you broken? Do you feel like you're broken right now?
Yes, I feel completely broken, emotionally shot, and I feel like that individual or team that if I get one moment of adversity, I will just crumble. Yes, so one bad beat, okay? Like I'm going to make a play on tonight, and I'm worried about the hook, okay? One bad beat. You could just go the other way. If you've gone the other way on my picks, you're 24-10.
You're buying me dinner a lot if you've gone the other way. And I don't mean at, a burger joint. You're taking me to a steak place and we're ordering wine with the money you've made.
Correct. Yeah, we're going to those places where you have to order the sides separately and pay for them. Yes, we're going to that type of place if you just take my picks and go the other way.
Have you looked at your picks and thought about flipping them yet?
Yes. In fact, this will be the last week that I play it straight. The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family-owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeister's prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 13325.
This is Miller and Moulton.
So you have a mighty nooner?
Flight-wise?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are you connecting?
Houston.
Okay. How's the Houston airport?
Big. Takes a while to go from section to section, but they have a good rail system. So I like it.
Trying to think if I did Houston or Dallas on my way to Oregon a few years ago. I think it was I don't even remember.
Yeah, Dallas is American. Houston's United.
Yeah, that still does nothing for me.
I know. Well, I'm surrounded by a lot of people who have picked an airline. Like Joe's two guys, Svita's an American guy and Garrity lives in Atlanta, so he's a Delta guy.
Yeah, I mean, if you live in Atlanta, I understand it because you can get anywhere on Delta. I would say I probably like Delta. I think Delta from a service standpoint is, to me, always been the best. But that's.
I agree. I think American's the worst of the big three. Left Twix, are you asking me why do I hate flying so much? I don't hate flying at all. But this West Coast travel is hard. It's funny, Coffin Ball. I can never get the first class upgrade on American. I get it all the time on Delta and United. Well, they must like you better.
Now, you don't have to pay for your upgrades, though, but you have, right? You on occasion have.
Yes. Yeah, I will basically, if it's less than $200, I will seriously consider the first class upgrade.
Like, will you try to get it coming home?
Yeah, I try to get them on the 3+ hour flights.
Right.
Like last year when my arm was still recovering, I purchased a lot of upgrades because I just wanted to be around less people. Because everything was seemingly bumping into me.
Yeah.
Carts, people, luggage.
Yeah, I was actually surprised with your arm, and I know you like the aisle. I thought that was going to be like, you know what? I got to just take the damn window so people don't hit me.
Well, I had to change. I preferred C, and I had to move to D. I had to get my right side protected from the carts and the people. And I started having to explain to the people I was sitting next to, listen, try not to inadvertently just bump into me because I may scream.
I know how much you love talking to fellow passengers.
Right.
That's why I'm laughing.
Mm-hmm.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Pat Kirwan to break down Week 5 in the NFL, which got underway with a terrific divisional game last night. And we talked about it, this aspect of it, in which we said, listen, it is not a home game for the Rams against the Niners. That crowd will be 60-40 minimum Niners. And Mark, I don't know if you caught Al Michaels saying this is not a home game. And I don't know if folks watched the game and listened to how loud it got when the Niners made big plays.
Yeah, I didn't put the volume on until the baseball game was over. Not even. In fact, I was so into the baseball yesterday. And all right, full confession, I'm in a fantasy hockey league. I had my draft last night. So I was locked into my draft, watching the baseball, and I think it was around 9 p.m. when I went, oh, damn, I got to put the football game on.
Is that the most gooberish thing you do, the fantasy hockey
There's
draft?
no doubt.
Okay.
It's not even close.
All right. I just wanted to make sure. I do want to keep that in mind because I provide you a lot more material to mock me with than you provide for me to mock you. But I am going to have to remember you take part in a yearly fantasy hockey draft and league.
And it's an auction draft, which is even more tedious. It's something. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
This is unbelievable.
Right.
This might be worse than me betting like Middle Tennessee State FIU.
There's no doubt. It is. It's going to rank top 3 no matter what your goober moment is. Okay. I'm going to medal at all times. All right. I was 2-3 last week. That puts me at 12-13 for the season. David was 2-5 last week. That puts him at 10-24 for the season.
Huh?
That's right. That's right. We pick 5 games a week, and somehow David has 9 more picks already on the season.
Yep.
I have 5 games. It's what I do. I'll start with the game in Tallahassee. I'm with Lee. I just think Miami's a better team. You know, when Bud Elliott talked about Alabama missing passes because they were late against Florida State, it looks like he may have been right on with Bama. So I think Carson Beck's a much better quarterback than the guy at Alabama. Now, the receivers at Bama are better. They are. Alabama's got great receivers. But these Miami receivers are pretty good. And the freshman kid's been playing great. They can pound the rock. They'll mix it up. Look for Miami to go play action a few times and get some chunk plays on the Knolls. I like Miami to win and cover. Give me the Canes. I'll lay the 4.5. I texted David about this game earlier in the week, and I haven't been able to get it off my brain. I know Cincinnati's off to a pretty good start. They are. I get it. I think Iowa State's, one of the 3 best teams in the Big 12. I don't think Cincinnati is. I'm getting 1.5, so I'm basically picking a winner. Give me Iowa State over the Bearcats. This is a little Moulton-esque. Not completely. I mean, it's not Middle Tennessee State or anything like that. It's a team that very well could make the playoff. And Tulsa last week had to play the other team that could very well make the playoff. Back-to-back against good teams for Tulsa? I don't think so. Give me Memphis. I'll lay the big number. It's 20.5. Give me Memphis. Hey, Nico Collins isn't 100%. Everybody's counting Baltimore out. People are questioning Harbaugh and his job. Derrick Henry's not running enough. Cooper Rush is going to play. Oh, no, the poor Ravens. What was the score of that Houston-Tennessee game going to the 4th quarter, David?
It would be 6-0 Houston.
Thank you very much. Baltimore, a home dog? Are you kidding me? Give me the Ravens in 2.5. And I don't think the Chargers lose 2 in a row. The spread's low enough, even with Daniels back. The Chargers embarrassed themselves a week ago against the Giants. That Harbaugh, Jim Harbaugh, doesn't like to get embarrassed. I don't see the Chargers losing 2 in a row. It's a small number. Essentially, you're picking the winner here. If it were 3.5, 4, I might go the other way. But it's 2.5. Give me my Chargers against Washington. And that's my 5 picks, David.
Mark and I agree on 2 of them. I also feel the same way about the Chargers. The fact that McLaurin's not playing and Daniels is not 100%. Also, 2 Herbert turnovers led to 10 points. And I don't think that will happen again. So I'm with you on the Chargers. I'm also with you on the Canes. I think the extra week of preparation will really help Miami here. So because Gus's offense is not easy to handle. So I like the fact that the Canes have 2 weeks for this one, and that's why I'll lay the 4.5. I'm taking Navy against Air Force. All right. Navy, very good offensively. Air Force, awful defensively. I'm taking Navy laying the 12.5 in that one. I'm taking undefeated Maryland at home getting 6.5 against Washington. Huskies have major injuries and the whole travel, 9 a.m. kick their time. Okay, I'm taking Maryland. I'm getting 6.5.
David, one of the stories, you have to really read to find it out. But this Maryland freshman quarterback, Washington's been great so far. That might be a money line play.
I think the Gators are going to win. I'm getting 5.5. I think everybody at Florida knows they have to win or else. Because the players know if Billy leaves that, well, they'll start looking too, and nobody wants to. Gators coming off a bye. I think it will help them. I think they sneak by and win. South Florida tonight. The line's gone up. It concerns me because it went from 27.5 to 28.5. But Charlotte is not good. South Florida off a bye. They're going to score 50.
David, I still have it on the thing that I use for our picks every week at 27.5.
Well, then
I'm giving it to you at 27.5.
NFL now. I don't think the Dolphins win 2 in a row. Short week on the road. No Tyreek. Also, Panthers have played 3 of their first 4 on the road. Their one home game, they spanked Atlanta 30-0. Give me Carolina. The Seahawks defense is outstanding. Outstanding. I think that they'll rein in Tampa's offense. I like Seattle to win by at least 4 at home. So there you have it. Maryland, Navy, the Gators, the Bulls, the Canes for 5 college picks. Carolina, Seattle, and the Chargers for 3 NFL picks. It's an Elite 8. Go the other way and print money.
Just hoping that I can go 1-1 with the 2 picks that I share with David.
Hell, I'll take that as well.
So there you have it. David with 8 picks because he never chases when he's minus 14 early in the season.
I'm very disciplined. Very. With my diet, with my exercise, and with my gambling. Very disciplined.
Always take the 4 dog on a short track. Miller and Moulton. So there are your picks. David 10-24 on the season. I am 12-13. Lee Sterling made his picks. He's had back-to-back winning weeks on the show. Pat Kirwan coming up in 30 minutes right here, Miller and Moulton. Football season is back, and celebrate your game day with Jimmy the Beef Guy. We're talking tender, juicy Chicago beef sandwiches. Whether your party's for 10, 100, or 200, bring game day to your house with Jimmy the Beef Guy. The catering packages come with the beef, the gravy, the peppers, the bread, everything you need. 2 convenient locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. Skip the ordinary and bring the beef. Jimmy the Beef Guy, Chicago flavor, Southwest Florida style. Call today or visit jimmythebeefguy.com. Tell him Miller and Moulton sent you.
Got a cracked window or foggy glass? Don't wait for the next storm to make it worse. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business is just down the road and ready to help. From leaky frames to shattered panes, we've got the tools and the know-how to get your home or business storm ready. With flexible scheduling and our done right promise, you'll be in good hands. So before or after the weather hits, call your neighbors at Glass Doctor.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh yeah.
For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to nolanagency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or nolanagency.com.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
This is Miller and Moulton.
You're right, DC. You're right, DC. And Panda. And it's funny. I mean, come on. We all know who I root for on Saturdays. So, but I like Jim Harbaugh. I always have. I liked him at Michigan. He is the weirdest guy in the world. I don't know if I'd want to ever hang out with him, but I'd let him coach my football team. That guy can flat out coach. And Left Twix, great point on the third string tackle. The only thing to me is I don't think Washington has much of a pass rush. But it's a great point by you, no doubt. But I don't think that there's a lot of pass rush in Washington. Yeah, you know what, Panda? It's not bad. You know, either that or you can just play a game of catch with them. You grab the mitt and the ball and say, "Hey, Jim, how about a catch?" You know, they could have. You wonder if Harbaugh would have taken that job. You're looking at it now. Von Miller's 174 years old, Left Twix.
There's no doubt the Chargers' offensive line is an issue, and Herbert's getting beat up. I'm not a huge fan of the Washington defensive line, however, especially off the edge. But he did have a sack in the Raiders game. I know that. Oh, yeah, DC. The Chargers are, yeah. I mean, the Chargers are his late night booty call. Absolutely.
The problem is they don't answer all the time.
No, they don't. And they definitely are not interested in a long-term relationship. Well, for the Chargers, I don't think the Chargers will ever have a big fan base in Los Angeles. First off, if I owned the Chargers, I would have stayed. But secondly, believe it or not, if I would have moved, I would have moved to St. Louis.
I'd have moved to London.
You would. Well, that's besides the point. There are a lot of owners that would if that's ever a possibility, you'd be shocked to find the owners that would be lining up to move their teams.
RCB, I don't think that's a bad bet because I think you know if you're going to win, try to win a little bit of money.
Ooh.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes till Pat Kirwan to talk all things NFL. And I do want to bring up something about the NFL with you, Mark, coming up in a moment. But first, Miller and Moulton with a poll question. Who you got? Canes laying the 4.5. Knowles getting the 4.5 at home. And there seems to be a consensus on this show. And if I'm a Knowles fan, that would make me very happy. Although it's October.
Well,
all right.
It's interesting that you say that, David, because, see, Miller and Moulton write everything down. I still carry around notebooks that I have all season long. And during that commercial break, I did a little R&D. David, week 1, you and I, back in August, agreed on 3 games. Loser, loser, loser. Since then, we've agreed on 3 games. We've won all of them.
Oh.
So for those of you who think when Miller and Moulton agree, it's a loser, that's 3 straight that we've agreed upon. I will say on the Pelican Roofing of Florida text line, Pelican Roofing of Florida, commercial residential, 1-866-9-PELICAN is their number. Couple of texts. A lot of people still who download the podcast and listen to things later really enjoyed our interview with Mike Westhoff on special teams. If you missed that earlier this week, we had Coach Westhoff on Tuesday and talked about all of the problems that are going on in special teams, and he addressed all of them and why. Very detailed. If you're into the nooks and crannies of football, it was a great talk with Mike Westhoff. But someone just simply says, David, don't let Mark talk you out of his picking strategy. I've been eating good.
Translation, I am betting so hard against your picks, and you are money.
Another one, I'm hedging against Moulton on every bet. Wow. Wow. You guys are tough.
Yeah.
You guys are tough. There's no doubt. Quick question, David. Yesterday during the show, people have asked, not only on the Pelican Roofing of Florida text line, it's come up a couple of times. It's come up in the chat room, whether you're watching on YouTube or Twitch. Yesterday, we discussed splitting the screen.
Yes.
And whether or not you could figure it out. Did you even attempt to figure out the split screen feature that your cable provider gets for you?
No, I didn't. Wife and I both joked about, I'll tell you, your audience and what have you, and they're so right, we're idiots. And no, never tried.
Nope. The granddaughter will be over soon. She can figure it out.
Right. I even went to go see the nearly 4-year-old. But you're right. She's having a sleepover tomorrow with grandma, and maybe that's one of the things they'll accomplish. And then I'll get back from the West Coast, and the wife will go, hey, the granddaughter taught me how to split screen. Here's how you do it.
If the sarcasm runs all the way through the granddaughter, she's a year and a half away from ripping the remote out of your hand and saying, Grandpa, it's done like this, okay?
Yeah. Well, she started using a word yesterday, okay? I said something, and she just looked right at me and said, Grandpa, that's crazy. Oh, okay, we're going there. You're not even 4. All right. Good to know.
You know what? I may have to reach out to your daughter and get her to hook up on StreamYard and just get that line to put in so I have it at times when you say something.
And you can just hit the button?
You're damn right.
Grandpa, you're crazy. Right. And she's not wrong. So, hey, I'm going to throw this out there. What coach was it earlier this week talked about the footballs being lighter and that's why the ball is going so far from the kickers? Was it Westhoff on our show?
It's a friendly ball. I mean,
okay.
that was his word. It's a friendly ball. There's a little more air in it. They work it. He referred to it as a friendly ball.
Okay, and he said we're going to have a 70-yarder here soon. I'm curious what folks think. I believe it's hurting the NFL. That the ball, to me, this is like, Mark, a baseball season when about a month into it, both the pitchers and the hitters go, the ball's juice this year. The ball's flying. Because every year, even though they say they make the ball exactly the same and the same people make it, they're like, yeah, no, this ball didn't feel like this last year. It didn't travel like this last year. I feel it's the same way now with the footballs. Okay. To me, Mark, do we want the NFL to be, oh, man, I just crossed midfield. I'm in field goal range?
No. You and I don't. I mean, scoring is easier than it's ever been. All of the rules are to give the offense an advantage. There hasn't been a rule put in the game
in
30 years that helps the defense.
But if I'm the league, if in fact the football is flying further than ever before, I think I'd want to change the ball. I would be like, this is not helping. People don't want to see field goals. People, if anything, would rather see teams go for it on fourth down. Okay, now I know it could lead to more punting and pinning teams deep. I get that. That's the other side of it. But, maybe the NFL's thinking, yeah, but, we've kind of fixed the kickoff. The kickoff's back being a somewhat exciting play, legitimate play. I will say this, and Mark, you talked about it first on this show. It played a big role last night. Rams tie it up, and the kicker can't kick the ball into the kicking zone or whatever they call it, the target zone, whatever. Ball lands short of the 20. Niners get the ball to start at the 40-yard line. You might as well at this point bang the sucker through the end zone and let them start at the 35. You take out the risk. You take out the risk of return. Okay, and you take out the hole starting at the 40 if you kick it out of bounds or not far enough. But I'm just curious if anybody is tired of all the field goals. And if you were the NFL and you find out that, wait a minute, so our footballs are going further than ever before, is there a way we can stop that? Because I'm not interested in field goals. Do field goals help the fantasy player?
Yeah, I mean, some leagues have kickers. Mine does. Most really good, like when you do a DraftKings daily fantasy, kickers are not part of it, for what it's worth.
Right. And so I'm just wondering, and I understand if you're in a fantasy league, but then everybody has a kicker. So isn't everybody kicking more field goals?
Not really. Some games it happens, some games it doesn't. But I do think, David, because of fantasy, people have no problem with it. And the other thing is, most fans, 95% of the fans only care about their team or the team they dislike losing. You're a Dolphins fan, you root against the teams in your division. I don't know if the Bucs fans the same way because their division is what it is, but you know what I'm getting at. My wife's a Steelers fan. The only thing that makes her happy besides the Steelers winning is the Ravens losing.
Now, I'm not ready to go over the deep end, but since field goals now are so easy, between the football, the fact that they've perfected the snap and the hold, and the kickers have never been better. I want to give the kickers all the credit in the world. They've never been better, not even close, how good they are now compared to what they were even 10 years ago. Should we start altering how much touchdowns are worth and field goals are worth?
What the hell?
Oh, no, I'm just asking.
No.
Hold on. Just give me two more sentences. If the field goal is this easy, do we really want you to be able to overcome a touchdown with field goals being as easy as they are?
All right. Can I go now?
Yes.
Thank you. Couple of things. I think you're overthinking this a little bit. with changing points. One, we've actually said on this show, we said it either last year or the year before, and I thought you agreed with me on this. There should be one ball, not a K ball and a regular ball. There should be a ball. I've thought that for the longest time. Two, you're spot on with how good the kickers are. But to me, it's an easier fix than changing the ball and the rules and all that. Tighten the damn goalposts. Make it harder for them to make field goals. Narrow the goalposts. They do not have to be as wide.
Okay. By the way, I did say I'm not ready to go as far as changing how much a TD is worth in a field goal, etc. But I got to admit, if we're getting to midfield and we're just about there, and it's like, oh, we've got 3 points. Well, hell, the drives are starting on the 35. I mean, you don't even have to get 2 first downs to get in scoring range. So that's all. I'm just wondering if people are like, oh, man, there's a lot of damn field goals. And what used to be, oh, well, if you could force them to kick a 50-yarder, now it's like, well, to count on a miss, you damn near have to force them to kick a 60-yarder.
Texter on the Pelican Roof in the Florida text line says changing the football is the same argument as changing the golf ball. They're changing the golf ball.
Yeah. Yes, they are. Not everywhere, but they're changing it. USGA and the RNA are. Masters, I believe, still undecided, right?
Yes.
And the PGA Tour right now is a no.
That is correct.
Yeah, the golf ball manufacturers have paid them off.
Yeah, they went nuts.
Yes, they did.
I mean, you and I watch a lot of golf, me especially. Come on, the ads are manufacturers. That's all it is.
I know. We're not surprised. It'd be like if all of a sudden, it'd be like the government banning pharmaceutical advertising. Wait, what?
No, might happen.
Network
changing it.
Network TV would go under if that's the case. But
I think Tim brings up a good point in the chat room. Widen the hash.
Oh, like the college where you kick on an angle, make it a little more challenging.
There are ways to make this more difficult for the kickers. It has never been easier for the kickers. To all of your points, and Westhoff said the same thing, that the timing of everything, you can't light up over the center the way you used to.
Right.
I mean, there are a lot of rules that are giving the special teams offense an advantage, but yet we've had a bunch of blocked kicks this year. We've actually seen a difference in special teams this year that we've never seen before, that maybe the defensive side starting to figure some things out.
Right. With Mike Westhoff, we asked him, hey, have teams now figured out, since you can't line up over the center, can you put 2 guys on one gap and cause the penetration there? And is that how the kicks are happening? And Mike goes, oh, yeah, absolutely.
And he blamed being on the one hash. He was with Denver when they lost to Kansas City because of a blocked field goal. And he said it was because he flat out blamed Sean Payton to want to be on a hash. He wanted to be in the middle of the field.
Right.
Those were his exact words.
But it's just my thought. I mean, I know I like a game a certain way, and most people like it differently than me. But I just get the sense, man, there's a lot of field goals. I mean, I'm starting to feel about the field goal the way I feel about the strikeout in baseball. It's like, man, we got a lot of these. I'm tired of seeing teams win games with nearly 30 points in which they've only scored 2 touchdowns. I mean, I want you to score 26 points with 3 touchdowns, not with 2 and 4 field goals, if you know what I mean. I want more touchdowns. I want more legitimate going for it on 4th down, as opposed to now, it's no thought involved. Where it's kind of like, well, if I don't go for it here, then I have to punt. And, that's what I want to be brought back into the decision-making.
I do find this argument there is some fun in my head, because I've heard you yell, and I've agreed with you for a couple of weeks. Liam Cohn not kicking a field goal against Cincinnati. Kirby Smart not kicking a field goal against Alabama. I mean, we are going for it more than we've ever gone for it before. We've sacrificed field goals a lot. Now that's red zone play.
Yes. And I guess I just want teams to have to do more than drive 24 yards to score points. That's all. I mean, could you at least have to go 40? That's all I'm saying.
That has nothing to do with how good the field goal kickers are. And unfortunately, that's, how we've changed the new kickoff rule. They don't start at the 20. There are a lot of reasons behind that. Miller and Moulton will get knee deep into this week's NFL action with Pat Kirwan. He's next. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Think we only fix windows? Think again. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business does so much more to upgrade your home. We custom build stunning shower and bath enclosures, install sleek glass doors and windows, and can bring fresh life to foggy or cracked panes. Need a glass tabletop or a statement mirror? Yep, we do that too. If it's glass and it's in your home, we're the team to call.
Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh yeah!
Todd and I are local. We're involved in our community. We live here, we work here, we're in our showroom every day. We love working with our guests. We love giving back to our community.
We are so excited about our new store. Same location, same team, new environment. Every day is like a grand reopening. Absolutely stunning when you walk through our doors now. Come experience the newness of the Diamond District. See what we've done.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 13325.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Good morning, Pat.
Good to see you, my friend.
How are you?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Doing good.
Getting
Doing
the
good.
updates?
Yeah, I'll get with you after because there's a lot of people listening right now.
Well, hello out there, whoever you are.
We've got that's when we're on Twitch and YouTube, so they get the fun. They get to hear the commercial breaks. That's part of their. We got our audience, the video audience that's always with us. I know I did not watch much of the first probably 2.5 quarters. I was locked into baseball, but man.
Well, it was
last night's why you don't bet the NFL.
Amen. And there's not one thing leading into that game that would point towards 49ers. It's a road game on a Thursday night. They've got 1,000 injuries. And they got a quarterback that really was immobile most of the game.
Yeah, I mean, after that hit, the fact that he came back, I was surprised.
Yeah. Well,
that's a tough kid right there.
He is tough. And, gosh, the more I watched him, the more I was thinking, if he just was drafted by the 49ers in the beginning, where would he be today?
Well, we wouldn't have Brock Purdy. Okay, because Shanahan loved the kid. Shanahan admits they made a mistake. That was who Shanahan wanted, and the organization ultimately, and Shanahan included, they changed their mind and they took Trey Lance. But the guy that they went into the draft process that Shanahan really wanted was Mac Jones.
Yeah, absolutely. He told a very close friend of mine we were taking Mac Jones.
Yep.
So
okay.
The people that forced him into that decision don't work there anymore.
I was going to say he told us in a production meeting, okay, that Mac Jones had the best college tape he had seen since Andrew Luck.
Well, he definitely, and by the way, Jim Miller has said it on the air. Mac Jones is better than Purdy, and some of Purdy's issues physically are starting to surface. And it's
why I thought the Purdy negotiations, Pat, were going to go differently, because they had picked up Mac Jones. And I really thought that Shanahan was going to say to Lynch, John, play hardball with Purdy, because trust me, I can win with Mac Jones.
Right. And now they're stuck with the contract.
Right.
Too.
I know. And it surprised me. It surprised me that they gave Purdy the money after they signed Mac Jones, because we all know how much Shanahan loves Mac Jones.
Yep. And last night he was awesome.
Yes.
You talking about a courage battle.
He's 3-0 as a starter, by the way. How many backup quarterbacks on any team? How many backup quarterbacks could go 3-0?
We don't even use that as a definition
for
being a good backup. 2-2 is our definition. He's already beat that.
Our definition on this show is, can you get the horse into the barn in the game that you enter, and can you go 2-1?
Yeah. Well, if you do that, now the question's going to be, what do you do with a contract with him? Do you trade Purdy?
Yeah.
A lot of people like him.
I know.
I quite honestly, in my trips out there, I'm really surprised. I'll leave it at that head coach was overruled by anybody.
Well, I don't think he was overruled. I don't think he was overruled, but I think they convinced him to change his mind, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, as I said, the guys who convinced him don't go there anymore.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure of that. Yeah.
But, he hired John.
Uh-huh.
And when I was there many times, it was pretty clear to me who the boss was.
Oh, there's no doubt. Kyle's the boss.
Flat Britain. Well, then shame on him for changing his mind.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Halfway home on this Football Friday.
Football Friday.
In the 239, the 904, and in Tampa, St. Pete. Final hour of the show. Port Charlotte, Venice, surrounding areas. Live Oak, Lake City, and surrounding areas. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Pat Kirwan, kind enough to join us once again. He, the co-host of Moving the Chains on NFL Radio, weekday afternoons, 3 to 7 Eastern. Then he's a big part of CBS's NFL Today show. Pat joining us once again, courtesy of Pinchers, from Tampa to Key West and over a dozen locations in between. Pinchers, where you can't fake fresh. Good morning, Pat. How are you?
Good morning. A couple of great games coming up. Last night, I loved the game and stayed up for the end of it. It was terrific, and it was a great example of courage by Mac Jones.
Well, let's start with him. Is Mac Jones this year's Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield? I mean, are we looking at the resurgence of Mac Jones and a guy that down the road could be a starter again somewhere?
Yeah, this conversation I had yesterday with a caller, and here's what I say. I would prefer the remodeled guys than the draft picks. And I'll give you, it's not him, it's Daniel Jones. It might even be Carson Wentz. And why would I take a draftable quarterback that's debatable good or bad? This doesn't look like a great draft class. And then be forced into playing him right away, lose with them, a la Cam Ward and these other guys, versus taking a guy that's been beat up a little bit, that's resilient, that's proving today, 3 of them, that they can still play and they're young enough. So I would be inclined to be looking at Mac Jones, Danny Dimes, and even Carson Wentz, who, when you look at Carson Wentz, they look better when they have him on the field than JJ.
Well, they're 4-1 with 3 division wins. Okay. They deserve an awful lot with all their injuries. Okay. They deserve an awful lot of credit. Is there a more interesting game than Houston at Baltimore, even though they're both 1-3? I mean, the layers to this game, one of them's going to fall to 1-4. Future schedules. Can either team that loses come back from being 1-4? I find it the most fascinating, not the best, but I find it the most fascinating game on the schedule.
I agree with you. And, again, what did we learn last night? The beat-up team was San Francisco, and they found a way to win anyway. We're looking at Baltimore and probably saying the same kind of look how beat up they are. I stood on the sideline last week and watched them come off like a MASH unit, one after another. But the pride of Baltimore, maybe they were inspired by what they saw last night. Cooper Rush, the three of us have talked about Cooper Rush in the past, coming off the bench in Dallas and winning games. So that part of it's fun. I talked to D'Amico Ryans yesterday. He knows he has a team that won the division last year. He's just trying to get it right. Can he block and protect the quarterback? So it makes it a very interesting game, to say the least. Stroud, by the way, has never beaten Baltimore, and it's not good. Not only is he 0-3, the guy he's been involved in scoring 21 total points in 3 games. Never threw a touchdown pass in 108 throws. And he was sacked 1 every 11 passes. So I still think Baltimore. Now, I think Baltimore already has to realize they're not going to the Super Bowl. They're not going to get home field throughout the playoffs. Would everyone agree with that? They've already lost to Buffalo and Kansas City. It's all.
I still think they can win the division, Pat.
I do think they can win the division, but I don't think they're going to get a home game. They'll get that first home game, but they're going to have to go to Kansas City or go to Buffalo. That's the best they can hope for.
By the way, not only has Stroud lost 3, the Ravens have won 6 straight against the Texans. The last game was 31-2 Baltimore with the victory. So keep that in mind. But the feature game to me at 1:00, Pat, is Denver and Philadelphia. And Denver looked great last week, albeit Cincinnati, who didn't look like they tried much after the first half. But, Denver, this is a different animal with Philadelphia's defense. And Bo Nix finally had a good game. Can he have 2 in a row?
I'm not going to bet on those guys. And a couple of things I'd like to say about that. First off, he's not a very good road quarterback in his young career. 4 wins, 8 losses. When you look at his road record against playoff teams, 1 win, 5 losses. So who was Denver last year? Who's Denver right now? They're not a team that can beat the big boys yet. Now, let me get to Saquon and Brown. 2 guys. A lot of questions here. But I looked at their first 4 games this year versus their first 4 games last year. Very interesting. 77 rushes this year for Saquon. Last year, first 4 games, 73 rushes. The problem is last year he rushed for 200 more yards in the first 4 games than he's doing it now. So it's on him and his line to get the production going. They're not shortchanging him. They're not running him less. They're running him literally the exact same amount of times. And then you get to Brown, and he's complaining. Well, let me talk about Brown. He had 28 targets this year. Last year, in the first 4 games, he had 30 targets. Basically the same. What's the difference with him? He doesn't catch the ball like he did. Last year, he caught 21 of those 30 targets. This year, he's caught 14 of the 28. And the yardage, 151 to 408. They're not going to him less. They're not running Saquon less. They're just both less productive. I still think they have plenty to beat Denver.
How much of A.J. Brown's lack of production, though, are you putting on A.J. Brown versus putting on the quarterback? There seems to be just because he was targeted doesn't mean the pass was on target. Okay, I do think the Saquon numbers can be the offensive line also is not playing at the highest level this year that they were last year, seemingly early in the season. I'm just curious your thoughts on the A.J. Brown lack of production. How much of that can you blame Jalen Hurts?
Well, what's going to happen is with A.J. Brown complaining publicly and on social media, it's going to force guys like me to go back and look at every one of those plays. And after this week, I will look at all of the season, and I will have an answer for you on how many were on him. But he's already started to complain, which means he thinks, the balls weren't catchable. We'll see. I'm not a big fan of Jalen Hurts, the passer. I like Jalen Hurts, the athlete. Love Jalen Hurts, the runner. As I've said on this show before, I'm waiting for them to really have to throw to win and see if they can do it.
Well, they did it the only time this year they were pressed. Obviously, second half against the Rams, they got it done. So, they're 1 for 1 in that situation.
Yeah.
All right.
And they're the world champs.
Washington and the Chargers. Daniels is back for Washington. McLaurin is out. The Chargers O-line is really banged up, but I don't think, and David and I both agree on this, that Washington has a very good pass rush. So when you look at this game, Pat, what are you seeing?
Well, I don't know that Washington, I think we said this back in early September, right when the rosters were formed. I said it, and I think all of us agreed. Washington doesn't look as good as they did last year. Some of those guys are older, like Bobby, and some of the pass rushers are gone, and they do not look like the same football team. And without McLaurin on the field, and some of the guys that are behind him are hurt as well, I'm not so sure. And then you start to look at Jaden himself. How about Jaden? His sack ratio is 1 every 11. The same exact line blocked for Mariota, and his sack ratio is 1 every 17. We've seen this before. Jaden, I think, I wouldn't call it a sophomore jinx, but he's having a harder start. He's not going to have a CJ Stroud kind of year, but he certainly doesn't look as dynamic as he looked last year, and we'll see what happens. McLaurin not on the field changes coverages. These young quarterbacks, I'll go all the way back to Culpepper. They took Randy Moss off the field, and he couldn't determine the coverages. This is a little tougher without McLaurin on the field.
And the Commanders, I think many of us, because of Jaden Daniels' youth and exuberance, we think, and since Washington came out of nowhere, we think of Washington as a young team. I think they're the oldest team in the league.
Yeah, they are old. But I don't go by that. I go by the age of your starters. And yes, they have old starters. And there's going to have to be a turnaround. But they thought last year, and rightfully so, we can win this division and go to the Super Bowl. That's why they didn't mind signing and re-signing older players. They thought they were here. They're a now team. That may change at the end of this season. On the other side, the Chargers can you find them a left tackle?
Hell, they need a right tackle at this point. My goodness.
You need everything. And so protecting their quarterback is going to be an issue for them. I like the Chargers, though. I think Dan going on the road, don't like it for those guys, would not take them in this game.
All right. There are some teams that are trying to find their way. To me, one of those teams is the Minnesota Vikings because they gifted Pittsburgh some early scores. They fought back and nearly won that football game. They stayed overseas and they play the early morning game against Cleveland. Your thoughts on Wentz? You mentioned it briefly, starting for the Vikings this week.
Well, Wentz has played better than JJ. And you can just look at his production and what he's done. His completion percentage is significantly higher. The problem he has is the same problem JJ has. They're both sacked 9 times each. That's 18 sacks, and you're playing against Myles Garrett and those guys. We talk about matchups on this show a lot. This is not a good matchup for Minnesota. They can't protect their quarterbacks, and here comes that Cleveland defense. Now, what do we really know? The Cleveland defense, as good as it is, in most cases with most teams, defenses can't win games without some support from the offense. So where's that going to come from? Dylan Gabriel, first game is going to start. And I said this the other day, well, we're going to have a Jackson Dart effect around this league. And we went through 3 scenarios, and this was the one, even David agreed, would go make a Jackson Dart move, and they made it. I think you're asking a lot of the kid on the road. Minnesota's pass rush is pretty rough on its own. So as much as I'd love to see Cleveland win, I think they're going to beat up their quarterback. Carson Wentz will be under fire, but at the end of the day, I could not take Cleveland's offense to win this game.
I was going to say, of all the defensive coordinators to have to make your NFL debut against, Brian Flores, and how much he likes to blitz, wow.
He might blitz 12 if he can get away with
it. He's Pat Kirwan, NFL Radio's Moving the Chain, CBS's NFL Today show. Pat joining us courtesy of Pinchers, Tampa to Key West, all points in between. Pinchers where you can't fake fresh. Pat, earlier Lee Sterling, and all our guests joining us on the American Paint Supplies hotline.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512. For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to nolanagency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or nolanagency.com.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Pat, I was just thinking the other day I had to run to Publix and I went by the arena. I'm like, boy, we're close to Blades, aren't we?
Yep, it's coming right now, the preseason games and all that stuff. So I got to run down. I told you about that motor vehicle thing. I'm trying to time it up with maybe the opening game.
There you go.
If I got to go, I might as well go do something else besides go to motor vehicle. I've had so much problems with my mail this summer. I have to, change the address for the summer. And my wife got a letter 2 days ago that was postmarked August 8th, and it just got to the house.
My mother-in-law is convinced the mail down here in Florida is the Pony Express. It takes so long for everything to get to us.
Yeah. Remember when they had that, I don't know what you call it. It wasn't really it was like the outpost over there by 41.
Oh, yeah.
And at least I could go there and they could go in the back and say, oh, yeah, there's all this mail we held. We didn't know what to do with it. And it was like, I find it. When I go to the new one, the big one there, I'm like, I don't get any satisfaction about where is my mail. And
what you get is a long line there. My wife sends me there far too often, and there is a long line.
Yes, there is a long line. And when you head to the front door, you see the people right past you and out the behind that.
Yep. Uh-huh. And you're like, okay, maybe I'll come back. Yep. No doubt.
Yeah, so I got to go solve all this. God only knows how much mail is sitting somewhere. When she gets a letter yesterday, 2 days ago from August 8th.
Well, if there's ever anything, if it's at the condo and you need me to go get something, holler.
No, I will. But I'm pretty close.
I'm pretty much free after 10.
Well, you should be on the putting green.
A couple days a week. Playing today. Wednesdays and Fridays are my 2 days.
Yeah. Is the weather good today? It's beautiful up here.
It's just hot. I mean, it's just hot. It's wonderful and just hot and humid. It's summer still, you know. Right? And this is the month where it bothers me the most. I'm done complaining about it, but it's just October. It's just in my brain. Like, come on. And it used to be about October 15th, and now it's Halloween before it seems to cool down.
Yeah.
But that's the other side of it. Every day I'm seeing more car carriers. And a few folks are already back for the year at the golf course. It's like, I looked at the tee sheet today. I'm like, oh, there's a lot of names that I hadn't seen in a while. Okay. They're coming. Yep. It's October.
Yeah. Most of my wife's girlfriends are all back. So she's anxious to get going.
That's, and my mom with, her friend she plays cards with, she's like, there's one game she plays in the summer and they all come back. She's like, yeah, I'm not doing the whatever day game. I don't know what it is.
Well,
they play for a whopping $3 a person. It's big money.
Oh, that's my wife. Every day she's out playing something, and she's actually mad when she loses $3 and very proud of herself when she wins $3.
I will say my mom's a good card player. I mean, we grew up, that's what we did. I learned how to play cards at a really young age. That's what our family did. And she always has singles, and there's a drawer next door, her junk drawer. It's full of ones. She will not do anything till she gets to 100 of them. And I'm like, so she does pretty well. I kind of laugh. And then but boy, does she complain when she gets the player that doesn't know what they're doing. It's like, I played with so-and-so. She's got no idea how to play cards. And I hear about it for 15 minutes.
Yep. We are having the same conversations.
All right, Pat, if you had to take one to win outright, my Survivor League, I've used a lot of good teams. Do you take the Colts this week, or do you take Arizona? No points, just a win.
Man, I probably would take the Colts.
All right.
Let me ask you about another team. Did you take I'm sure you took Detroit already.
Yeah, I already took Detroit last week against Cleveland.
You took Miami already?
No.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour, our remaining moments with Pat Kirwan. Joining us on the American Paint Supplies Hotline, your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. Listen, we only have 10 minutes left with you. I just want to spend 45 seconds on this one subject. Why are the Browns allowing the media to talk to their third or fourth string quarterback? No other team does. When the Patriots signed Tim Tebow, Belichick gave him 1 day at the beginning of camp, you could talk to him. He never was allowed to talk to them again. Why? He was no better than their third string quarterback. Why are the Browns letting the media talk to Shedeur Sanders?
Well, let's start with why did you draft him? Is there any shock here amongst the three of us that he was going to have a public position on everything?
No.
So they got what they deserved. Then the question is, how do you discipline him on this subject? It's interesting. I don't know that Belichick cared about the rules. I remember during the draft, ironically, Mac Jones, he was supposed to meet with the media after he was drafted in the first round. You know what Bill said? Go down and see Pat and get out of there. Don't talk to anybody else. I think Bill's already lived by the Bill rules for a long time. So Shedeur is Shedeur. Now I went through this. If I'm not talking about during the game, clearly Flacco would go in if Dylan Gabriel gets hurt. But if Dylan had a season-ending injury, who would the starter be next week?
It'd be Flacco.
How long do you think he'd be starting since they've already benched him? And how much pressure do you think there'd be to put Shedeur out there? You've already decided to go with a third-round draft pick. Believe me, there were people that call our show, and some of them are good football people, that are shocked Shedeur is not the 2 this week. I had to go explain what the 2 is. But if Dylan goes down, you're going to hear it on your show, my show, and every show. It's time for Shedeur.
All right. You talk to both of these coaches every week. Tampa Bay, Seattle. It's a tough trip out there. That's a tough place to play. I'm a little worried, and you know how much I love what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are doing, but Baker's getting hit a ton. He missed Wednesday practice. I'm not worried about him playing, but I'm worried about the beating he's taken. When you look at this game, 1, what do you see? And 2, how worried should Bucs fans be about the beating Baker's taken so far this year?
Well, he plays a physical style of football, and he is never going to change. I don't think he could ever just hand off and sit in a pocket and throw fast. He's not like that. And the score will dictate his level of risk. And the scores all season have dictated he must take risk. So he's going to do it again when he gets out there. Now, is Seattle, here's the question I have, is Seattle ready for a team like Tampa Bay? I'm not so sure they are. I like talking to Mike. McDonald. He's built a very nice defense. They're getting great pressure up front. He kind of thinks he's ready. He likes Sam Darnold. I think the instincts of Todd Bowles is to go get Sam Darnold, who likes to sit in a pocket, pretty pocket tough. He'll step up into it. I have a feeling you're going to see. I don't think they'll run the ball very well against Tampa Bay. That is Vita Vea and company. They clog up that run game. That's the first thing they seem to be able to do on a regular basis when they need to. So I think Seattle should be able to beat them, but I wouldn't underestimate Tampa Bay and the resiliency of the quarterback. But you had a long range question, Mark. I have a feeling he's going to miss a couple games this year.
Are the Cowboys better than we think? Or quite frankly, is Dak Prescott just playing the best football of his life? I mean, they barely lost at Philadelphia, and Green Bay 2 weeks ago was the new favorite in the NFC to go to the Super Bowl. And without CeeDee Lamb, they just hung 40 on them. I mean, I'm just curious, are we changing our opinion on the Cowboys at all?
Well, their fans are back, and they're calling the radio like crazy. They hide when things are bad, but they're not hiding now. So the offense is that good. You described the offense to me. You did not describe the defense. And the defense, you can throw on these guys and start looking at what happens. They'll beat the Jets. And the momentum will continue. But I had a call yesterday who said 11-5-1. And I go, oh, slow down, bro. Slow down. But if you look at their schedule, which I know David already has, I can find enough losses that it's still going to be hard for them. They got a 3-week stretch after their bye that's not pretty. It's Kansas City, Detroit, and Philly.
Physical. That'll be interesting. And obviously we know that defense is not very good. Hey, look, I thought that McDaniel had a chance of getting fired if he lost to the Jets on Monday night. They lost Tyreek, but they did some things that I liked. I like that they're rolling out Tua. I like that they ran the ball more than they threw the ball. Their defense finally forced a turnover or two, and they had a little bit of a pass rush. So does that continue this week at Carolina?
Well, I think playing Carolina is perfect for them. Carolina is not a very good pass rush team. They have 2 sacks and 8 hits on the quarterback. So I think the three of us will agree. If you don't get to Tua and he sits in there and gets into his rhythm throwing, he's a pretty good player. I'm still waiting for him to run. He has 1 first down rushing. So when you play defense against Tua, you don't care about contain. And that creates problems for the tackles. You can tell your defensive ends, don't worry about contain. The guy's not leaving. So they're two-way rushing the tackles and all that stuff, and it's a problem. But Carolina is the perfect team for Miami to play. And on top of the lack of pass rush, Chuba Hubbard doesn't look very good with a calf injury. And that's how you can beat Miami. Run the ball against Miami's defense. They've already given up 632 yards on the ground, over 5 yards a carry, and 36 first downs. So if Hubbard's not playing and the pass rush isn't good, Miami should look like a team that's bouncing back into a race, which I don't think they are, but I think they'll win this game easily.
The Broncos look great, but we credited the fact that they played Cincinnati for a decent amount of that. How much are we going to credit the Chiefs being back to the fact that the Ravens might be the most banged up team in the league? Do the Jags have anything for the Chiefs Monday?
I don't think so. I mean, I like their record and I'm happy for the way they're going, but I still don't believe that Trevor, although his protection's pretty good. When you get sacked once every 49 throws, I know who the opponents are. You're happy with it. But Jacksonville, to me, has never, no matter who the coach is, stepped up into the class of the good teams in the last 3 years. They're 0-6 last year against playoff teams. They didn't look good in any of those games. Who's Travis Hunter? Does anyone know if he's a factor? He's not. They ought to decide on what side of the ball and stop playing a game that they promised the public they were going to do. I think Kansas City, after I stood there and watched them last week, they look like a team that's going back to the Super Bowl. Whether they do or not, time will tell, but their offensive line was pretty good, David. They were, you know what? Worried about the left tackle. I went there with my eyes on him. Not bad. The right tackle, mistakes disappeared. And he's not setting up in the backfield all the time. So I think they're better up front. I think they're just a different team. Kansas City now has their eyes back on the division title. Mark says he likes Baltimore. Do you like Kansas City to win the division?
Well, I'll say this. The Giants win over the Chargers, I think, inspired the Chiefs greatly because they went, oh, wow, that's going to bring us a game closer. We thought if we beat Baltimore, we'd still be 2 back. Now we're only 1.
Yeah, and if Philadelphia puts it on Denver, all of a sudden we are having a different conversation next week that they're back. I think they're going to go in there and rough-neck them.
He's Pat Kirwan. NFL Radio's moving the chains. Weekdays 3 to 7, Saturdays 2 to 5, Sundays. He's part of CBS's NFL Today show. Pat joining us, courtesy of Pinchers, Tampa to Key West, all points in between. Pinchers, where you can't fake fresh. Pat, be good. Enjoy your week.
Take care, fellas. Enjoy your week.
Pat Kirwan here on Miller and Moulton. Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Got a cracked window or foggy glass? Don't wait for the next storm to make it worse. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business is just down the road and ready to help. From leaky frames to shattered panes, we've got the tools and the know-how to get your home or business storm ready. With flexible scheduling and our done right promise, you'll be in good hands. So before or after the weather hits, call your neighbors at Glass Doctor.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor. We fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Michael, especially after the Eagles game. Yes. They've got a 5-game stretch there where the worst they should do is 4-1. Yeah. Logic man, I like the Phillies' chances.
You know, you and John would probably pin me against the wall and beat me if you just were to witness what I do in the hallways around here.
No, I understand it, and besides, it's helping us. So, but I will say that
the subtle irony
that there are 2 studios there that you do like the people that are in them.
Yeah, no, and I mean, I was just talking to Adam, but I just, it's just a different, It's a very different Mark Miller. around these halls than it was when I was actually employed here, which begs the question, why the hell didn't I act like that before? It might have made life a lot easier on me.
They're different too, and they're different towards us.
And the ones that were bad are all gone. I mean,
Right.
if you really think about it,
Yeah.
the two sales managers and the GM. I mean,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, and you know what's interesting about that, Sonny, is there any advantage of having, now Seattle had the week off? I mean, that is we'll see of these teams that played this week who wins.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. We both like the Canes against the Knowles. We both think Miami covers. I think it'll be close, though. I think it will be a close cover. I think it will be a one-score game cover. But I think Miami wins in the 6 to 8 point range, and the number's 4.5. But I do think that Florida State's going to get around 24, 23, 24 points.
That would be, if they do that, that would be 20 to 24. I can see that. I just think fourth quarter time that Miami physically is going to overwhelm them. Both sides of the ball. That defense is really tough up front, and we watched what Virginia was able to do against Florida State running the football. I don't see Miami being much different with their ability to run the football. But earlier in the show, David, when you made your picks, you said Florida was going to win outright.
Yes, I did.
You didn't just say Florida was going to cover the 5.5. You said the Gators are going to win outright. And man, oh man, would that be something?
Yeah.
If that happens, and we've said this for a while, as bad as things have gone for the Gators, that puts them 1-1 in the conference. And with what's ahead of them, I mean, let's be honest here. Georgia's defense is a mess. Mississippi State, come on. There are games for the Gators to win. There's a way you can see them turning it around. Now, I don't see it because I don't think offensively they're good enough. But if this freshman receiver adds a threat that wasn't there offensively for the Gators, maybe things change. Texas is pretty good defensively, though.
They are. Now, I will say they've pretty much only played Ohio State. And they got them week 1. They did hold them to 14. I think Sayin and the Buckeyes offense is a different unit now. But yes, I mean, the other 3 teams they played, the talent difference is staggering. So, I think Florida's played a tougher schedule than Texas.
No doubt. No doubt. So I just some quick hitters on Saturday. You were a believer in Pitt before the season. I don't think you're a believer anymore, but I was a little surprised you didn't take Pitt this week against BC because I don't think BC is very good.
Yeah, the Panthers have scared me off. I mean, they absolute clunker at West Virginia. They're so much better than the Mountaineers. And to lose that game, forget not covering, to lose that game to me is shocking. Then they blew, a big lead against Louisville? Hey, I'll tell you what, the Miami-Louisville game is a week today?
I think Miami gets a bye before that one, too, if I'm not mistaken.
That's going to be a big – Miami gets it at home, I'm pretty sure. But that could turn out to be a very big game. Who knows? Could be the first of 2 times they played this year.
Everybody scores on North Carolina. Will Clemson? UCF scored on North Carolina.
Yeah, and not only that, North Carolina's not scoring on anybody.
Right.
I mean, the first drive of the season, they went right down the field and scored a touchdown, and they've been bad offensively since. Well, what do you consider scoring? Like, do they get to 30?
Yeah.
Probably, because I think the North Carolina offense is dreadful. 14.5, by the way, is the number.
It is. And the way North Carolina's played, it's tough not to lay it. Vanderbilt now getting 11.5. That started at 10.5. Money's coming in on Bama. Is the party over for the Commodores, or are we going to see back-to-back Vanderbilt wins against Alabama? I don't think so. I think Alabama offensively's figured it out. You looked at what they did against Georgia in the first half. They were throwing it around. I think they'll be able to do that against Vanderbilt. But, the Alabama defense isn't great. And I do think Vanderbilt will score some points. I'd be nervous. In fact, it's 11.5 now. I'd be nervous laying the 11.5. I really would. I could see this game being 31-21, if you know what I mean.
Well, I do worry about a late backdoor cover. I think it's going to be even higher scoring than that, Mark. Like, Vandy can't cover Alabama's receivers.
No.
I mean, and the quarterback is so much better than he was when he played Florida State. To me, I think Alabama scores a minimum of 35. I think it could be 38 or 42.
If that's the case, I think they cover.
And I don't think Vandy can keep up. I think Vandy can get to 24. I don't know how much more they go than that.
I think Vandy converted 11. It was either 11 or 13 first downs last year against Alabama. They have to shorten the game, if you will. They have to have long drives. They have to play the same way they did a year ago. I don't see it happening. Virginia just got done beating Florida State. Vegas has a lot of respect for them. They go to Louisville. Louisville's a 6.5-point favorite.
Yeah, because Louisville might be the second best team in the ACC. That's the other thing that's getting lost here.
I don't know if they're better than Georgia Tech, but.
No, I know that. And I think that could be what it comes down to. I don't know if they're on each other's schedule, Mark, but that could be the game to see who plays Miami in the ACC title game.
I think you're on to something there.
And Knowles fans going, well, that means you got Miami winning this week. Well, we do.
And Georgia Tech and Louisville did not play.
Yeah.
I mean, Georgia Tech, and this is one of the reasons I like them. The rest of they're off this week. Virginia Tech, at Duke, Syracuse, at NC State, at BC, home for Pitt. I'm telling you, they're playing for the ACC title against Miami.
Well, the other thing is that since Georgia's already got a loss and they still have Florida and Texas and others on their schedule, could Georgia be and the Georgia Tech matchup be for a playoff spot for either?
It very well could be. Look at Georgia's schedule. Look at the way that defense has played. They get Kentucky this week. I'm not worried about that for the Dogs, but there's still Texas. There's still Ole Miss. There's still Florida. I mean, there's still some games on that Georgia schedule. A&M did not score a lot last week against Auburn. If you look at the stats without the score, the game should have been a 24-point A&M victory. But Mississippi State played Tennessee tough. Do they have it in them to play two tough games in a row? They're in College Station, David. The big game we're all paying attention to is FSU and Miami at night. But Mississippi State and Texas A&M is a 16.5-point favorite.
I can understand why Vegas doesn't have a lot of faith in Mississippi State on the road. Their two big efforts this year have both been at home, the win over Arizona State and the close loss to Tennessee. Here's the other thing, and Mike Elko, I don't know if anybody saw the clip in the locker room. He said to his team, guys, if we can ever put it together for 4 quarters, we're going to run the table. And I do think it is something that we need to think about. Is Texas A&M the best team in the SEC? I mean, they had enough offense to beat Notre Dame. They had a defense that suffocated Auburn. Almost humiliated them.
Yeah, Auburn didn't get across midfield in the second half. The only score they had was on a
Defensive score.
Defensive score.
Right. On a fluke play.
Right.
Yeah. I'm just wondering, it's tough for us to take A&M seriously. We didn't think they'd go to Notre Dame and win. They did. And I think, Mark, this is the first sign of Vegas saying that, this A&M team might be different.
UCF hosts Kansas.
I almost played it.
And which side would you have been on? Because I would have been on the Kansas side.
And I would have been on the UCF side. But I'm worried the quarterback got hurt again. I know he came back. But, UCF at home, I think, is a very different team than UCF on the road. Also, I don't think Kansas is the team. They're a notch below what I thought they'd be. What is UCF getting, like 6.5 at home?
They are.
Yeah.
They are. Here's the problem, though. Take the North Carolina game out because we now know that North Carolina is hot garbage. That's what they are. The other two games were against opponents that don't matter. They played K-State and gave up 34. Kansas has scored. They've lost. They played Cincinnati, scored a bunch of points. Played Missouri. That looks to be a little better than advertised. They scored some points. I don't think UCF can stop anybody right now. That's my problem with UCF. Hope I'm wrong. I'd like to see them, start winning some games, but until they can prove that they can play physical football, I'll continue to bet against UCF.
There's a battle of unbeatens in the Big 12 that I find interesting. Houston. Nobody talking about Houston. They're 4-0. We were talking about them a couple years ago when, Holgerson had them and he was going to make them really good and they'll be able to recruit and what have you. Okay. And here's Houston at home getting 11.5?
That's the number, 11.5, David.
At home, an undefeated team getting that many points. All right. Houston's, who do they have again? Who's the undefeated in the Big 12 they've got?
What, Houston, Texas Tech? That's it.
Texas Tech.
Right.
Yep. Who's considered the best team in the Big 12. That's all. Now I know, Texas Tech pulled away late at Utah. I got it. And Houston may be a paper mache 4-0. I get it. But, Mark, I find it interesting. Right now, the top two teams in the Big 12 are who? Texas Tech and Iowa State. They're both on the road. Iowa State's an underdog at Cincinnati. Cincinnati's only loss was on a neutral field to Nebraska, and most people felt they outplayed Nebraska at Arrowhead. And then there's Houston. So Tech on the road, Iowa State on the road. Can the two favorites go on the road and win?
Well, Texas Tech in that game against Utah, and I think you're getting ready for your game, and I know I was texting you during because it was a game I'm trying to sell myself on. That was the big noon kickoff on Fox, and it was the only game going on really at noon that mattered. And I'm like, I guess I'll watch. It's what I have to do. It's my job. And then I watched, and up until the end, I could not believe how physical that game was. We all know with Utah that you typically get a really physical team, but that's never been Texas Tech. Texas Tech has been a lot of flash, score a bunch of points, give up a bunch of points. Texas Tech physically was tougher than Utah, and that shocked the hell out of me, David. Texas Tech against Houston, to me, is kind of like UCF. They're just not physical enough to me to match up with what Texas Tech has.
Well, I think Utah is the most physical team in the Big 12, and it's why I picked them to go to the title game and win it. And so when Texas Tech went on the road and did what they did, I went, damn, you're right, Mark. This could Texas Tech and Texas A&M both shed some serious labels this year?
Could Texas Tech and Texas A&M be the two best teams in the state of Texas?
Well, the Texas schedule is hard. It's why they better not lose to the Gators, because if they lose to the Gators, they ain't making the playoff. I'll tell you that right now. They still got Oklahoma, they still have Georgia, they still have A&M.
Not to mention, I mean, I know they're not as good, but they play Mississippi State and Vandy. And yes, Texas is better than both of those teams, but they're not the walkovers that they once were. Sark's got pressure on him, David. You know, we talk about Napier and all the pressure. If you're right about Florida, look, and I'm not putting Sark on the hot seat, but the temperature gets a lot warmer in Austin if you're right about the Gators on Saturday.
Yeah, they ain't getting rid of Sark even if they go 7-5. But
I
yes,
got you, but you know what I'm saying.
Well, it would quite frankly put both Arch and Sark next year on notice. I mean, the Texas folks would let both of them know. Do you know how much money we're paying the two of you? Are you serious?
How much money we're paying the two of you. Yes, that's college football in 2025.
Yep.
Miller and Moulton. When we come back, we'll run through the NFL schedule and make our picks straight up. Football Friday, Miller and Moulton.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. Capecops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
When Glass Doctor replaces your windshield, we don't just send you on your way, we send you off protected. Your local Glass Doctor includes the industry's only 12-month windshield protection plan at no extra cost. That means unlimited chip repairs and even a one-time replacement if needed. High-quality service backed by real peace of mind, right here in your neighborhood.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor. We fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Exclusions apply. See your local Glass Doctor for details.
Foolish Joe's Sports Cafe, inside the Doubletree by Hilton. Bell Tower Shops, Fort Myers, a classic sports bar with an outdoor deck. Then in October, we'll have all the playoff baseball. College football, they are home to the Ohio State fan club. NFL action, the start of both the NHL and NBA seasons. Never mind trivia, karaoke, bingo, all part of the entertainment package at Foolish Joe's. Good food, good times, good sports. Bell Tower Shops, Fort Myers.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Ryan, that's exactly why Ohio State is opposed to it. They don't want this private equity if they're getting the same as Purdue. They don't. But it keeps the super conferences away for all those years. And does Ohio State want that? I don't know. I don't think Michigan does. I think the Buckeyes might, to be brutally honest. I think the Buckeyes would be fine if there were a super conference. I think the leadership at Michigan's different than that at Ohio State. I do. I don't mean athletic directors. I mean presidents. Don't know if their offense is, Adam. Your point on Napier, Sark is a far better play caller. It's not close. We all know that. I totally agree with that. I do not think that is the right guy for the job in Ann Arbor. We'll see. But we've got to see serious improvement. And I think I like their quarterback. I just want to see consistent improvement. I just, here's what scares me if I'm Michigan more than anything. And we talked about it earlier this year. One, Ohio State is wide receiver U. Every great wideout in the country seemingly goes to Ohio State. Michigan used to get really good receivers. When is the last great Michigan wide receiver? And at that time, how many great Ohio State wide receivers have there been? 13? I mean, look at how many guys Ohio State has in the league playing at that position. Is there, David, help me. You do the NFL every week. Any Michigan wide receivers in the league right now?
Not really. Not impact off the top of my head.
I mean, the tight end's going to be good. I get it.
Although he's had a lot less impact than I thought he was going to have.
I know.
Oh, they should have took the Penn State kid.
That's Left Twix. That's what I was thinking. How long ago is that?
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the bonus hour, the final hour of Miller and Moulton on this Football Friday.
Football Friday.
Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Your votes are in. You voted for Denver and Philadelphia to be the 1 o'clock profile game at Shoeless Joe Sports Cafe, and the Bucks and the Seahawks to be the 4 o'clock game. Show up in your, jersey and get Bud and Bud Light specials any NFL Sunday.
In fact, show up in your NFL jersey and tell Fritz, screw Miller and Moulton, I wear my jersey to the bar, and see if that gets you an extra special.
I think it may. It's time where we make our picks. By the way, we do have another poll question. Miami, Florida State, with or without the points. Who do you like? Miami -4.5, Florida State +4.5. There was someone in our Twitch chat room said I took Florida State +6.5. Where the are you getting Florida State and 6.5? Seriously. From like a corner bookie or something? I mean, a buddy of yours? I mean, come on. Has anybody seen that at any point in time this week? Anywhere?
Has anybody seen a corner bookie?
Hello. So, for the record, in picking NFL games, just picking winners, Mark has a 1-game lead. He's exactly 67%, 42-21, because there was a tie. And I'm a game behind it, 41-22.
I love that you got the total records. I don't even bother with that on the NFL. I gave up on that a long time ago. I just have the, +1, -1, or who's ahead right
now. No, we've
Atlanta, Chicago, Green Bay, Pittsburgh are the 4 teams with buys this week, for what it's worth. We have a Sunday morning London game, the Vikings and the Browns. Gabriel starting for the Browns against that Flores defense. David, that all by itself is enough for me. I'll take Minnesota.
Well, I have to admit, I was going to make the Vikings a play, but Myles Garrett and company are tough to block, and Minnesota's got offensive line issues. I have to believe, though, they have the better quarterback, and goodness knows they have the better receivers. So I have to believe they win and cover, but I got to admit, Myles Garrett and that defensive line scares the blank out of me.
I understand that, but Flores against a quarterback with his first start in the NFL. I just think that's a recipe for disaster for Cleveland. But put it this way, without a defensive score, can Cleveland even get to 17?
Probably not.
Dallas at the Jets. Do the Jets remain winless? I say yes.
I say no.
Ooh.
It's just one of those strange NFL. It's tough for a team to keep, even the really, really bad teams win 3-4 games a year. I mean, the Jets nearly beat Tampa Bay, for goodness sake. Okay. Dallas is awful defensively. I'll just be curious. The Cowboys were all in last week. That game was personal, the Micah Parsons game for the Cowboys. Dak's been amazing. I will say that. He's been amazing. You could argue he's been the best player in the league.
That's a strong statement. I will say the Jets ran the ball well against Miami. They just fumbled the damn thing. If they can hang on to the football, this game will still be a game come the fourth quarter. Denver at Philadelphia. I like the Eagles at home. I think this will be a good game, but you heard Pat Kirwan earlier in the show give the Bo Nix numbers as a quarterback on the road. Philadelphia wins at home.
Do you think the Eagles, they're pulling the Chiefs from last year, aren't they?
A little bit.
Every game is seemingly a one-score game. I mean, beat the Bucks by 6. The Rams, it was a 1-point game. The whole block kick at the end that they returned. Beat the Chiefs by 3. The Cowboys by 4. I think they'll do it again, but you wonder at some point, when do they get burned by the fire that they are continuously playing with?
Well, in Kansas City's case last year, they didn't do it at all during the regular season. They just kept winning all of those close games. Houston at Baltimore. You said this game intrigues you more than any other. I took Baltimore. I'm getting points. I think they win outright. I think one organization's better than the other organization. And I do think the embarrassment they've had on defense, the perfect timing is Houston. They can't score against anybody.
Baltimore's given up 33 points a game, and Houston is offensively challenged. And Houston's not healthy on offense, and Baltimore is a mess defensively, health-wise. That's why this game fascinates me. Mark, I think the difference in the game is going to be Houston's defensive line. I think they're really going to get after Cooper Rush. Baltimore needs to run the ball 40 times. They need to commit to Derrick Henry this week. Remember, Tampa Bay beat Houston running the ball. I'm going to take Houston, but Baltimore should give Derrick Henry 30 carries.
All right. In the game that very well could determine who has the first overall pick in the draft, the Giants, Jackson Dart's second start, goes to New Orleans and Spencer Rattler. Ooh, can't wait for that one. We have to pick it. We're obligated. I have no idea. I'm going to take New Orleans at home because they're at home, David. That's my only, and I have no clue who's going to win this game.
The Saints are favored as
Yeah,
a
they are.
team. All right. That's remarkable to me. Spencer Rattler's due, isn't he? He's 0-10 in his career as a starting quarterback. Rattler's due, isn't he? I say Kellen Moore and the Saints win as well.
Vegas at Indianapolis. This one's pretty big spread. I think right around 6.5, 7. Genty got it going last week. Had a big game running the football for the first time. Vegas has a little bit of a pass rush, but I do think at both lines of scrimmage, Indy's better. Their running back's pretty damn good. Their receiver is pretty damn good as well. I think, and at the end of the day, I don't like the way that the quarterback's playing in Vegas. I'm going to take Indianapolis at home.
I'm with you. Don't know if they cover, but I'm with you because I don't think Daniel Jones will turn it over. And right now, Geno Smith is a turnover machine. I think there's a chance Geno, if he commits 2 turnovers, is benched.
Miami at Carolina. I write down my picks before we do this, so I'm not influenced to try to go away from David and pick it. I don't have anything written down here because I have no damn idea of what this is. Carolina did play really well against Atlanta at home. Other than that, they've played terribly. I think Miami is better. I'm going to take the Dolphins on a lark.
I'm taking Carolina. They've only played 1 home game this year. I do think, by the way, the losing coach gets fired sometime this season. Is that safe to say?
Ooh, it could be. It could be because, and I don't think they gave Canales a lot of weapons, and trading Thielen wasn't smart in my opinion because
it was not.
Bryce Young could rely on, so I don't know if that's his safety net. But all right, Tampa Bay at Seattle. I like the home team. You know how big I am on the Bucks, but I think this is a tough game for Tampa Bay in this spot. I think Seattle gets it done at home.
And I took Seattle to cover the 3.5. So you know where I am. Seattle's defense is outstanding. I think if Tampa gets in the 20s, don't laugh. It will impress the heck out of me. Seattle has not been giving up a lot of points. They've won 3 in a row also.
Tennessee at Arizona. Arizona's going to win this game. Tennessee's awful.
Yeah, they are. Arizona's got injuries, though, but the Cardinals are defensively. I mean, Tennessee, what a mess that is. That's another coach who, oofda.
Washington at the Chargers. Everybody knows my love affair with the Los Angeles Chargers. It goes all the way back to San Diego. They're not losing 2 in a row. Give me the Chargers.
Agreed, although they are challenged on the offensive line this week, but I'm not sold on Washington on the defensive line.
Detroit is at Cincinnati. I think it's the biggest number on the board. Take the Lions. Don't worry about it. They win outright.
Yeah, team meeting in Cincinnati after the Monday night debacle. Lions will win. I don't know that they show up and give an A effort, though, but they'll win.
New England's at Buffalo. Do you know Drake May has the best completion percentage in the National Football League so far this year? It won't be enough. I'll take Buffalo, but I could see this game being close mid-third quarter.
Tell you what, Buffalo, I'd like to not see you play to the level of your opponent. Okay, could you just show up and play at least a B-plus game? Because I wouldn't let the Patriots linger.
And finally, Monday night, Kansas City at Jacksonville. The schedule gets real for the Jags over the course of the next 3 weeks. To me, can they just win one out of the next 3? It's not going to be this one. Kansas City gets them on Monday night.
If you're Spags, what are you taking away from Jacksonville? Aren't you taking away the running game? Aren't you literally saying, make Trevor Lawrence beat us? He's not a top 15 quarterback. So I don't know that Trayvon Walker is going to play. I'll take the Chiefs.
So there you have it. We differ on 3 games. I'm taking Dallas. David is taking the Jets just because. I'm taking Baltimore. David is taking the Texans on the road. And I've got the Dolphins winning 2 in a row. David says, not so fast, my friends. He has Carolina. Other than that, we agree on the rest of our NFL picks. I'm up 1 on David so far this year. We'll see how it works out this week.
We have 2 unbeatens left, Philly and Buffalo. They're both home. And we have 3 winless teams, the Jets, the Saints, and the Titans. 2 of the 3 are at home, and I'm riding the Jets and the Saints to get off the schneid.
I have the Saints as well, begging the question, why? Miller and Moulton. Today was the day when the good, the bad, and the ugly, and what's on tap still ahead. We'll look at the baseball playoffs next on Miller and Moulton. Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Think we only fix windows? Think again. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business does so much more to upgrade your home. We custom build stunning shower and bath enclosures, install sleek glass doors and windows, and can bring fresh life to foggy or cracked panes. Need a glass tabletop or a statement mirror? Yep, we do that too. If it's glass and it's in your home, we're the team to call.
Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh yeah!
This is Miller and Moulton.
I don't think so, Sonny. I think Kentucky's the worst team in the conference this year. I don't think it's close. And let's be honest, Sonny, if you're a UK fan, do you really even care about anything until college basketball
I was going
starts?
to say, are you just killing time for another month?
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Good, bad, and ugly. What's on tap? Today was the day when, along with some final thoughts coming up in a little more than 15 minutes time here on Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Canes laying the 4.5. Knowles getting the 4.5. What's your pick? The game in Tallahassee, home field has not meant much in this rivalry this century. The games have been higher scoring recently than back in the day.
Canes right now getting 75% of the vote. 3/4 of you think Miami not only wins, but wins and covers. You and I all week were surprised the line was as low as it was.
We thought it would be closer to 6.5, 7.
Coming off of the loss to Virginia. And you see the respect Virginia gets from Vegas. They're ranked in the top 25 against unranked Louisville. Louisville a near touchdown favorite in that game. But David, it's not the baseball hour. I get it. It's a football Friday. I get it. But the divisional round starts on Saturday. Finished a great wild card round with 3 of the 4 series going to a deciding third game. Home team winning 2 of the 3. Detroit beating Cleveland on the road. Tomorrow, 2, 4, 6:30, 8:30. is when the games are played. We start with the Cubs and the Brewers. Season series was really close. The Cubs won by a game. Brewers now with a week off. How much does that affect the Brewers, the Jays, the Phillies, and the Mariners in these series. It's definitely influenced the baseball playoffs since they've gone to this wild card round.
Well, 2 weeks ago, I would have picked the Brewers with no hesitation. But the Brewers have lost 2 starting pitchers. The young kid they called up is now throwing BP, and I don't even think they can trust him in a pressure spot in the playoffs. Yeah, he's got good stuff, but they've caught up to him. I mean, now that all-star bid looks embarrassing. If it wasn't embarrassing 3 months ago, it's disgraceful now. Mark, it's funny. I have not been sold on the Brewers all year. I'm like, man, how are they doing this? There's a little bit of, I don't know, magic going on here. But they do have the best record in baseball. I actually think the layoff helped them. I'm going to take Brewers, but I think it goes the distance.
I'm taking the Cubs, and here's why. Baseball has become a bullpen game now. And at this moment in time, I'm not saying all year long. I don't care about all year long. I care about right now. How damn good is the Cubs bullpen at this moment in time? I think it's excellent. They've got guys they have more guys that can mash in Chicago than the Brewers do, I think. I'm going to take the Cubs. Yankees and Jays.
Well, Toronto's whooped up on them throughout the season for whatever that's worth.
Well, Boston whipped up on the Yankees too during the regular season.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, game 1's really important besides the obvious, because Toronto's got their best pitcher going and the Yankees are having to go with a number 4 starter. So, I mean, Toronto has to win game 1, in my opinion, because the Yankees are coming back with Max Fried in game 2, et cetera, et cetera. So, but also then play that down the line, okay? Whereas Toronto, in theory, can send their best pitcher against the Yankees twice. Mark, the Yankees are total hit or miss. They very rarely manufacture runs. They're not good defensively. I got to believe that catches up to them. The Red Sox just didn't have enough oomph in the lineup. Give me Toronto in 5.
I'm with you that I'm going to take Toronto in this series. What's fascinating to me is you're right about the Yankees defense. It was really good against Boston.
Well, Jazz Chisholm in game 2. He made the defensive play of the series to save the go-ahead run. And then what did he do? He manufactured a run with his speed. Okay. Boone has got to trust his young pitchers and everyday players and just put them in there. Screw the analytics. Play your best players.
And if you get to the Yankee bullpen, we've all seen what happens. I think Boone will have to go to the bullpen and Toronto will take advantage. The series I'm most excited about, Dodgers and Phillies. And yes, I'm a Tigers fan. I'm rooting for the Tigers. I'm excited about that. But from a baseball fan standpoint, come on. Don't you wish this one was 7 games for the NLCS? It's not. It's a best of 5. Does that make a difference for either team, in your opinion, David?
Well, yes, because the Phillies, even with the injury to Zach Wheeler, have much more pitching depth. And so the longer the series, I think it would have helped Phillies' cause. Here's another thing that I think really hurts the Phillies. The schedule. Wow, does this do a solid for the Dodgers? All right, because the Dodgers are pitching Ohtani in game 1, but they get an extra day's rest in between 1 and 2. Then it allows them to come back and pitch Ohtani at home in game 4. Huge break for the Dodgers because the Phillies have 4 starters. The Dodgers don't. They only have 3. But now because of the schedule, they can only use 3. I think the Phillies are winning the World Series over Seattle. So I'm taking the Phillies, but to me it's going to be Ohtani, and then it's going to be Snell because they're going to want Snell to face the Phillies twice, the lefty against Schwarber and what have you. Difference in the series, Mark? Dodgers bullpen's a mess. And defensively, they've moved too many different players around. Okay, bullpen and defense, big edge Phillies in 5.
You know what? I hope you're right. Believe it or not, there's nothing about me that likes the Philly teams. I grew up liking the Sixers because of Dr. J. But I'm not an Eagles guy. Sirianni drives me nuts. He's perfect for your team, by the way, Philadelphia, because he's a punk, and it just fits you guys. And for whatever reason, I've always kind of liked the Phillies. Unfortunately, I have 2 words: Mookie Betts. He had an awful year and found himself in September. The Dodger bats get it done, and Kershaw, maybe out of the bullpen, becomes a factor. I'm going to take the Dodgers in 5.
I think this could be a strict home field series because I will say this. The Dodgers are going to get Yamamoto and Ohtani on the hill at home.
And Tigers and Mariners. Seattle's the better team right now. There's no doubt. I'm going to pick Seattle. But I'm telling you what, Seattle better win game 1. Because if they don't get game 1, you know who's pitching for Detroit in game 2. Skubal. So, Seattle, you better win game 1, or your playoffs could end a lot earlier than you want to.
I'm with you, because not only do you get Skubal in 2, but then he lines up to pitch game 5. See, and that's what Detroit didn't have last year. All right. The way the series played out, okay, they could only throw Skubal 1 time. I like the Mariners in 4, and you're right. They better win it in 4, because otherwise, yeah, they'll be at home, but they'll be facing the best pitcher in the American League.
Of all the game 1s, to me, Seattle's got to win game 1. The rest of them, I think they're pretty even, and anything could happen. To me, the Mariners have to win game 1 if they're going to win the series. I think they will. So those are our picks for the divisional rounds. Yes, in a shocking development on a football Friday, Miller and Moulton went baseball outside the baseball hour. What the hell's going on?
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to NolanAgency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or NolanAgency.com.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Adam, I don't. I think the Phillies are going to the World Series. But what Major League Baseball really needs is they need the Yankees to at least get to the LCS. Because otherwise you could be looking at what, Toronto, Seattle, or Toronto, Detroit. I mean, I'd love to see just how low the ratings could go with a Toronto, Seattle ALCS.
Yeah, Sonny, I will say I sent a text to some buddies of mine yesterday. I saw a tweet, my little Tiger group chat that I have. I thought was fascinating. Flaherty against playoff teams this year had a 2.96 ERA. You know, the whip was 1.06. His walks were okay, and his Ks were up. I mean, he's just a guy that's got to get started. He's got to get through the first couple innings. And then they take him out in the fourth.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes until we're done for the day and the week. Miller and Moulton on this Football Friday.
Football Friday.
I know I'm projecting here about a week and a half out. Do you think the team with the better seed should have home field advantage in baseball, or the team who had more wins in the regular season?
Oh, you're talking about wild card teams that end up with. I think that the best record should have home field. I mean, that you play 162 games for a reason.
And I mention that because the Jays and Yankees finished tied with 94 wins, 4 more than the 2 seed Seattle. Yet obviously, I believe baseball does it by seeding. So if the Yankees were to knock off the Jays and Seattle wins, Seattle is the 2, would have home field over the Yankees the 4, even though the Yankees won more games in the regular season.
Look, at for baseball's sake, obviously it's Yankees first in the American League, but it's clearly Detroit second. I mean, they'd want Yankees Tigers way before they'd want Yankees Mariners. I know the big dumper.
Oh, yeah.
But it's Seattle, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
I mean, Detroit's one of those cities that has, kind of a national fan base because we all left.
Yes. The only thing would be, Mark, if apparently this big dumper thing were to really catch on. And I'm not sure with it, because Seattle's games are likely to be on FS1 also. I don't know how much oomph, even if they sweep the Tigers and he hits 4 home runs. I just don't know if it could carry the day. It would be fascinating, obviously, Judge against the big dumper in the playoffs, considering they're going to go head-to-head for the MVP.
When do they won't name that until after the year, right? Or when do they name the MVP?
I thought they do it right after the World Series.
That's what I thought, right. So would have been even better, if you know what I mean, when Judge wins it for the two of them go head-to-head. And we all know that Judge by the way, had a really good wild card round.
He did.
No hits for power, but hits.
It was also fascinating. The Red Sox challenged him. Okay,
yeah,
the Reds
tried to throw fastballs at him, were they?
Well, but also they didn't pitch around him and they didn't walk him. They went after Judge. I mean, he got 5 hits, I think, in the series, but I think they were all singles.
It's that time again, nearing the end, but not quite there yet. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
This isn't the top of the list of things we can thank President Lincoln for. But it is high on the list for me because it was today in 1863 that President Lincoln designates the last Thursday in November as Thanksgiving Day. Woodrow Wilson signed a 1% federal income tax today in 1913. A flat tax. What a concept. The American Pro Football Association, which would become the NFL, played its first full round of games today for the first time in 1920. I know you're all wondering who won. It was the Dayton Triangles beating the Columbus Panhandles 14-spit. The movie The Maltese Falcon with Bogart premiered today in 1941. Bobby Thompson's 3-run home run would give the Giants a 5-4 playoff win in the NL pennant today in 51.
Giants win the pennant. The Giants win the pennant.
CBS, also today in 51, aired the first coast-to-coast telecast of a prize fight. Australian light heavyweight Dave Sands outpoints Carl Bobo Olsen in 10 at Chicago Stadium. Big day for kids programming today in 55. The Mickey Mouse Club premiered and Captain Kangaroo premiered. 1960, The Andy Griffith Show debuted on CBS. It would run until 1968. The Dick Van Dyke Show, created by Carl Reiner, starring Dick Van Dyke and Mary Tyler Moore, premiered today in 1961. I don't know if it's underrated, but it's funny. For old black and white shows, that the Honeymooners gets all of the glory, if you will. The Dick Van Dyke Show is funny. Today in 1974, 39-year-old Frank Robinson becomes MLB's first African-American manager when he signs as player manager for the Cleveland Indians. And also today in 74, Mr. Clutch, Jerry West, retires after 14 NBA seasons. He averaged 29 points a game in 153 playoff games. Pretty good. Hank Aaron singled in his last at-bat, and he would drive in his 2,297th run for the Brewers today in 76. Art Shell becomes the first African-American to be an NFL coach, taking over from Mike Shanahan today in 1989. Couple of things in 1990. First, my Tigers. Cecil goes 50 and then 51, becoming the 11th player to hit 50 in a season. He did it in Yankee Stadium. And Germany got back together in 1990, begging the question, didn't we see this before? Sinead O'Connor ruined her career today when she decided to tear up a picture of the Pope on Saturday Night Live today in 1992.
Woo! Was that big?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
That was it for her. That was
Yeah.
it. Done.
Yep.
1995, OJ found not guilty of the murder of Nicole Simpson and Ron Goldman.
Do you remember where you were when you found out?
I don't. I really don't.
I do. I was at a press conference. I was at Rocky Hager, the football coach at North Dakota State. He had his press conference every Monday at noon. And we're all whispering. Remember, you don't have, the internet and what have you. Every 2 minutes, one of us would get up and leave the room. None of us ever left the room for his presser once he started it. And every 2 minutes, we were taking turns. We were all trying, because they were announcing the verdict at 9 a.m. Los Angeles time. And we just, yep. Mm-hmm.
Today in 1997, at the age of 69, Gordie Howe plays a shift with the IHL's Detroit Vipers, his 6th decade of playing professional hockey. 2003, the movie School of Rock premiered. Jack Black made a video begging Led Zeppelin to let them use a Zeppelin song. Led Zeppelin's allowed songs like in 2 movies. They let Cameron Crowe do it in Almost Famous, and they let Jack Black do it in School of Rock. You don't find Zeppelin songs in movies. They always say no. And today in 2012, even though Miguel Cabrera goes 0 for 2 in a 1-0 Tiger win, he becomes the first since Yaz to win the Triple Crown. Stevie Ray Vaughan would have celebrated a birthday today. Arguably the greatest guitarist ever. Lucky enough to see him once. Goaltender Glenn Hall. Butterfly goalie. He's 94. Chubby Checker is 84. Lindsey Buckingham, speaking of really underrated guitarists, Lindsey Buckingham from Fleetwood Mac is 76. Dave Winfield, 74. Dennis Eckersley, 71. Freddie Couples is 66. Trent's favorite, Tommy Lee from Motley Crue, is 63. Gwen Stefani is 56. Nev Campbell, 53. Anquan Bolden is 45. And Magic player Jonathan Isaac is 28. What did I miss, David?
It was on this day 70 years ago that the Guinness Book of World Records debuts.
That's it?
That's all I got.
All right.
Time to see life a little bit differently. Here's Mark Miller with the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
We go to Virginia for the good. Elfreda Hawkins was doing some cleaning around her Richmond home. She found a box in the closet. There was some unscratched scratchers. She said, what the hell? One of them turned out to win her $100,000. That's a good find. For the bad, we go to Cape Coral, where Travis Furr was arrested by the Cape Coral Police Department for aggravated animal cruelty after a report from a caller witnessed her boyfriend punching her cat while she was away from the resident. She observed one of her cats had some weird injuries, and it turned out her jerk boyfriend punched a cat. Who punches a cat? And finally, the ugly. We go to Hudson, Florida, where Craig Vaught was also charged with animal cruelty because he killed his pet peacocks and then he ate them.
What?
He killed his pet peacocks and then had them for dinner.
Wow.
No word on whether or not they tasted like chicken. And that is the good, the bad, and the ugly. Brought to you by the Cape Coral Police Department. CapeCops.com. New hires. Big money. CapeCops.com.
You know, they just provided us with some material and we, write the ad and what have you. But do you remember, just going back now, I'm going to date myself, right? 15 plus years ago, there was that Appliance Direct for a couple years. They sold appliances.
The dented appliances from Cleveland.
Right. And their big thing midway through the ad, they'd stop and the young lady would look into the camera and she would go, "They're from Cleveland, folks." And we all were just like, what is the big deal that the washer and dryers are from Cleveland? Okay. But that was like their catch line. Okay. They're from Cleveland, folks.
That and she had the cast or the wrap on one arm.
And a brace on one knee.
Oh, no, that's what it was. I'm sorry. It was the brace on the knee. She didn't lose the brace for the TV ad.
Right. Okay. And she'd wear shorts and this big knee brace. Okay. And she's kind of dragging her leg throughout the spot from washer to dryer. And then she'd turn around and she'd go, "And they're from Cleveland, folks." And I kind of feel like when I was cutting the Cape Cops ad that I need to just stop in the middle of it and go, CapeCops.com, folks, CapeCops.com. But maybe not. Maybe that's, I refrained from the first ad from doing that because I want there to be additional ads. So
no baseball today, folks.
No baseball today, folks.
And not from Cleveland either.
Right. Look at you rubbing that in just a little bit.
Hey, did you hear that, Frank? Send me that text after you win the division. How you doing now, Frank?
How do you like me now?
Take your dented washer and dryer and you.
Hey, we got the South Florida Bulls at 7:00 tonight. All right. Yes, we do.
David Lane, the 27.5 against Charlotte.
Yeah, I think they're putting 50 up. I really do. Now, sometimes you can put 50 up, but it's still not enough. But, by the way, Bucky Irving not going to play. That's just being reported. Bucky Irving not going to play Sunday for the Bucks against the Seahawks, and not sure he's playing the following week against the Niners either. All right. Josh Williams, the rookie, expected now to be worked into the rotation for Tampa Bay.
BYU at home tonight. They are ranked 23rd in the nation. They play West Virginia. They're a huge favorite, 19.5. BYU's kind of sneaky good.
Well, remember, if the quarterback didn't transfer, they were going to be the pick to win the Big 12 by just about everybody. So the rest of the team is more than sneaky good. The question was, they were going to have what, a true freshman at quarterback, not even a redshirt freshman. And so far, Mark, the kid's getting it done.
I will say this will be interesting with Tampa with Irving. Obviously, White's going to be the guy, but Roy Cummings has been praising that running back room for a while. Mm-hmm. We'll see the depth of that room on Sunday against Seattle.
Against a good defense, too. Cannot emphasize that enough. Against a good defense. The one game they lost this year, they lost 17-13 to the Niners. And the winning touchdown was a bit of a fluke. It was kind of a ball Purdy threw in the end zone that should have been picked off and ended up a touchdown.
Big weekend for the Florida college teams, Canes and Knowles. And can the Gators get right against the Longhorns? We'll break it all down Monday morning, 6 a.m. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Shoeless Joe's Sports Cafe, inside the Doubletree by Hilton. Bell Tower Shops, Fort Myers, a classic sports bar with an outdoor deck. Then in October, we'll have all the playoff baseball. College football, they are home to the Ohio State fan club. NFL action, the start of both the NHL and NBA seasons. Never mind trivia, karaoke, bingo, all part of the entertainment package at Shoeless Joe's. Good food, good times, good sports, Bell Tower Shops, Fort Myers.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512. American Paint Supplies. For nearly 30 years is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Besides the sales experience at the Diamond District, we offer a litany of other services. Appraisals.
We have 2 GIA certified gemologists, full-time, servicing your needs with appraisals.
We buy gold, diamonds, gemstones, Rolex watches. Repairs.
We have 3 full-time master bench jewelers.
A beautiful custom design department so that we can give you one-of-a-kind jewelry. Come see Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
This is Miller and Moulton